Getting nasty on a Thursday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. Jamie Rivers is en route, and he'll probably be here by about 4 o'clock. So we'll have Jamie with us for the final 2 hours of the show. Unfortunately, our guy Carey Davis still under the weather. I spoke with him today. He's feeling a little bit better, but the voice just isn't there yet. Carey's off tomorrow. That was a scheduled day off for him because he's taking some time off, and then he'll be back next Tuesday. So you just have Marsh and I for the first 2 hours of the show.
Oh, yeah.
We'll drive the bus. We do want your participation, though. We love it. So if you want to reach out via the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646, you can. If you want to reach us on the Air Alliance team, a.k.a. the Snake Pit YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL. We hope you find us there. Or leave us a mic drop on anything we're talking about today. In fact, we are going to get your pulse on something Cardinal related, which is The Athletic did a hope-o-meter a year ago. What's your hope-o-meter at, like, when it comes to the Cardinals in 2024? If you were to put a percentage on it. So, for example, if you're more optimistic about the Cardinals in 2024 than, let's just say, the average person, maybe your hope-o-meter is about 60% or 65%. Maybe you're really optimistic that the Cardinals are going to have a good year, and you're more 75, 80%. Maybe you're really pessimistic. You think 20%. That's what your hope is in terms of them. Let's Marsh, let's declare it as winning the division and winning a playoff series. Like, let's put the hope at that.
Okay.
Let's define it. 90-plus wins, or maybe it's 88 wins. They win the division, and they actually win a playoff series.
Like, they win the division, and you feel really comfortable about it. Not like, oh, gosh, we just won like 85, 86 games. We won by like maybe one game. It came down to the last game of the year or something like that. I'm talking like a comfortable victory when it comes to winning the division.
Even if they battle the Cubs throughout, or the Reds surprise, but the Cardinals win the division. They win it, not comfortably, but they're the best team in the division, and they win a playoff series. Where's your hope there if we were to give it a percentage of it, of 0 to 100%?
Real quick question. Now that you mentioned the Cubs, if the Cardinals do win like 80 to 90 games, like right around like 85, 86, whatever, and they're really tight with the Cubs, and you get that rivalry back, are you cool with that as a fan?
Yes.
I want that rivalry back. I feel like it hasn't been good in years.
I think we miss sports rivalries.
I do too.
Don't you?
Yes.
Don't you miss really hating a team?
I don't know why. I watched 4 Days in October the other day, and man, that Red Sox-Yankees rivalry was off the chain.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And I don't even feel that anymore.
Not to go too far down this rabbit hole, but I think that's what the NBA is missing. I think they're missing the hate. I grew up I was born in the 80s, grew up, I'll put this in quotation marks, I grew up in the 90s. I grew up watching the hate between the Pistons and damn near everybody in the league. Certainly the hate between the Bulls and the Knicks. The hate with this Charles Barkley trying to overcome Jordan. You had a lot of hate in the 90s, good hate in sports. The NBA lacks that hate now.
Oh, yeah.
You have guys trying to join each other to form super teams because maybe they played in the same leagues growing up or the same, semi-pro leagues. They want to play with each other on the same team. You don't have that natural hate. Draymond Green is legit, but he's only one dude.
Right.
And then Dylan Brooks comes along, and you almost seem like, that's fake. He's trying to be Draymond Green. You just don't have enough of the team-on-team hate there in the NBA. I miss that in sports. So, yes, going all the way, come full circle here on your Cubs question. Yeah, I would love to see the Cardinals and the Cubs absolutely start to hate each other again, but both need to be good.
Right, exactly. And I want to start hating the Cubs more than I hate the Cardinals, Like, I feel like I'm at that point right now.
That would be nice, Marsh. That would be nice. All right, so your Blues fall last night, but leave us a mic drop. Leave us a mic drop via the 101 ESPN app. 100% free to you. Hopefully you're listening right now on the app, whether you're online or you're using it via the mobile phone. But you can leave us a mic drop. Where's your hope meter at? If we do a percentage, 0 to 100%, that the Cardinals win the division and they actually win a playoff series. You could say 50%, maybe feel good about the division like I do. I don't feel great, but I feel good about it. But I don't feel great about them winning a division I don't feel great about them winning a playoff series. So my hope-o-meter is about 50%.
Where's your hope-o-meter for this Blues team after last night's game?
I got to be honest. About 20% right now. I'm pretty down on our Blues here. It's frustrating. It's to you get a lead like that, it's 2-0, and Binnington's playing as well as he has. This has been my drum to beat over the last week now. Binnington or Hofer plays well in the first period. You get a lead. You play with swagger. I don't care what opponent it is. We've seen the Blues beat the Oilers. We have seen them beat the Lightning. We have seen them beat some of the top teams in the NHL, only to turn around and lose to some of the dregs because they don't get that that spectacular goaltending in the first 10 minutes of the game. Well, last night you did, and last night you have a 2-0 lead. I'm fully aware that on the other side they've got Connor McDavid and they've got Leon Draisaitl and they've got just an absolute confident Hyman. I mean, he has been outstanding for the Oilers of late. The goaltending last night, who was it, Skinner?
Yeah.
Skinner, couple of huge saves.
He did.
The
He
Blues
made
had some
good saves.
opportunities. But if we're going with an identity, how do you win? How do you lose? The Blues have won games in which they have led, and they've had good goaltending. But last night was the exception. Good to get a point, but to be up 2-0 like that, and then to see the level of mistakes that they made. That's what frustrates me.
The game of hockey is a game of mistakes, and the Blues make more mistakes than the other team routinely.
Yep.
Night in and night out. And that's why they lose games for the most part. Last night, you can't get the puck inside the zone twice in the same shift. Bad line changes
Again.
from the defensive side. We saw that 2 games in a row now.
Yeah.
Not having your stick on the ice in front of the net when there's a guy planted right outside the blue paint.
You got 2 guys. You got a sandwich going on Hyman there, and you don't lift the skate. In fact, you who was that? Letty who checks him basically, puts him in a perfect spot to just knock one past Binnington. It's frustrating.
And then on the offensive side of things, Robert Thomas has a breakaway. But by the way, those guys, they had a good game. Like Robert Thomas, oh my gosh, that first goal he scored was amazing. Oh, that was great.
Yes.
That was a sweet goal. But he has an opportunity with a breakaway and slows down a little bit. And then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins comes back checks, and lifts his stick, and he doesn't even get a shot off. And then, there's a few other opportunities where they had a chance to just get a shot on net, and they didn't. It's just that's this team, though. They missed their opportunities. Like, they literally missed the net too much.
I don't know how you feel, Marsh, but I was trying to make this point with Jamie yesterday. When you watch the opponent, you see crisp passing. You see the opponent play faster than maybe what they are because they play fast with the puck.
Yes.
And it's not just on the power play. It really stands out on the power play. But even 5-on-5, opponents seem to be crisp. The puck is moving quickly through the zone. Their passing is quick. And you and I were talking before the show, and one of the words that you and I both used was urgency. Other teams seem to play with more urgency. Then you watch the Blues 5-on-5, and a lot of it is what I would describe as clunky.
Yeah.
The passing isn't crisp. How about the one feed last night? They had a 2-on-1 breakaway.
Yeah, Jake Neighbors to Braden Shen.
Yeah, but the pass was slightly behind, hits the skate. He's got to puck handle it. That creates an opportunity for the Oilers defender to close that space, and that's all he needs to just get the stick a little bit in the way of the pass, and you don't get maybe a quality shot off.
Yeah, it's that first pass, and the Blues have struggled with this for, I think, a few years now. Just making that first pass, the initial pass, either out of the zone or in the neutral zone when they go cross ice, and it's just too far out front for a player, and then they turn it over inside the neutral zone, and then the puck goes the other way.
Yep.
It's just little things like that, and you don't really notice it throughout the game until you sort of go back and really dive into the video. It's a problem. It's a problem, but it's little things like that why this team doesn't win these one-goal games. It's the little mistakes, and I think they're not, from a roster standpoint, I don't think they're at a spot to win these games because I don't think they're good enough.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Which is why you have to win games like that last night. Then.
Exactly. You have to win. And when the Blues do score first, they typically win. So last night, that was, to me, was a bit shocking that they, well, I don't know if it was that shocking that they blew the lead, but like from a statistical standpoint, it was shocking that they did end up losing that game because they did score first.
What'd you think of the overtime goal?
Oh, Anthony.
A lot of people are just saying, "Hey, it's Connor McDavid."
It is, and
Binnington's got to come up with that save. You saw him with the head back, and I mean, he knew.
Yeah,
he's got to come up with that. But you got thoughts on Robert Thomas?
Connor McDavid, before he's the best player in the world. It's tough to stop him. I thought though on that overtime goal that Robert Thomas, I thought the angle that he took was not good. His feet were facing towards the bench, and Connor McDavid is a left-handed shot, so he's going to want to be on his forehand, so he's going to want to take it to the middle of the ice, and you don't want to give up the middle of the ice, giving it to a player like that. Just let him go willy-nilly right into the zone. I thought he could have angled it to the outside, make him go to the backhand, and in that case, you have Colton Parayko out there who has done fairly well against Connor McDavid. And we saw earlier in that overtime when Leon Draisaitl took it to the backhand, Jordan Binnington had his glove right there on the near side post, makes the stop. So I thought either you make him go to the outside and you make him drive wide against Parayko, or he'll peel off, and that gives you time to reset your defense inside the defensive zone. Instead, he kind of reached out, took a bad angle. Connor McDavid keeps it on the forehand, cuts to the middle. Then you have Jordan Kyrou there, who's not a defender. Like, he's not going to defend the way that Colton Parayko does. He does the exact same thing where he reaches, kind of spins around. They're kind of twirling around, and then McDavid just sort of, and we've seen Jamie do this in the office where, you have that puck and you place it just a little far out front to give yourself a little extra room of puck protection, and then he gets the shot off. Again, Binnington probably should make the save, but that goes back to your point. You're making your goalie have to make big saves, and that's the best player in the world. You can't give him time and space. Otherwise, he'll go and score the game-winning goal in overtime.
Yeah, you had a great breakdown of that. And what Marshall's talking about with the feet, if he's more centered, now he can force Connor McDavid to go to the boards where Colton Parayko is. Now Colton Parayko is taken out of the play because Parayko is probably anticipating that Robert Thomas is going to drive him to the boards. Instead, he cuts back, and then it's all over. Jordan, you take Connor McDavid over Jordan Kyrou in that spot,
right? Exactly,
10 times out of 10.
And I would love to hear what Jamie's thoughts are too. Obviously, he's been in that situation. He's played at the NHL level, so we'll have to see what he has to say when he gets here. But I just thought it was an unfortunate ending to what I thought was a good start for the Blues, and it was 2 points that, they get 1 point, but I thought that extra point at this point in the season is crucial, and they didn't come up with it.
That's Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. 2:15, your time checkers are brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. We'll let you continue to throw in some mic drops. One of the themes today is going to be where's your hope-o-meter at for the Cardinals? And we defined it as them winning the division and them winning at least one playoff series. Where's your hope at percentage-wise? 50%, 75%, 25%. Leave us a mic drop on that, and we'll get to that throughout the course of the show. One thing I wanted to talk about, though, Cardinals related, we saw Kyle Gibson give up 2 home runs in his first 2 at-bats today. Wanted to talk about the rotation and whether or not Mo is making a similar mistake with the starting rotation this season as he did a year ago. And I have a specific point on that I'll make next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Auto Centers Nissan of Herculaneum is where we got our Pathfinder in the Stalter household, and it's where you could check out new Pathfinders too. We actually got a pre-owned vehicle, though. We got a pre-owned Pathfinder. We loved going through the process. We test drove different makes and models. It wasn't just pre-owned vehicles. We took test drives of new Nissans. We also took test drives of different makes and models. At Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they have over 700 vehicles right there at one location. You don't have to drive around to different Auto Centers Nissans Nissans to check out what they have at other spots. It's just one location out in Herculaneum. But we test drove a couple different vehicles. We saw them first at AutoCentersNissan.com, went through that process, picked out different price points, and then actually took the test drive. And we fell in love with a Nissan Pathfinder that was pre-owned, is right in our price range, and we love it. But when you head out to Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, you'll fall in love with the process too. The sales team makes it fun. They do a great job of explaining all the features and the benefits of certain of whatever vehicle you're looking at. In fact, a lot of times I come away impressed. I get new knowledge of the vehicle that I'm driving, whether it's a Nissan Rogue or Nissan Pathfinder, because they know so much at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. They're passionate about it. But they also have a 30-day return promise. They also have the free nationwide lifetime complimentary warranty with new Nissans and financing options for everyone. Good credit, bad credit, they've got you covered at Auto Centers Nissan. So tell them Stalter sent you when you head out to Herculaneum, or visit them at AutoCentersNissan.com. Andrew Marsham, Anthony Stalter's Fastline on 101 at ESPN. Jamie Rivers will be with us hopefully shortly here when he comes off the airplate. When he comes off the airplane from the airport, Marsh is what I was trying to say. So Jamie will be with us in a little bit. Kerry Davis, unfortunately, still out sick. We won't see him until next Tuesday. He's got some days off coming. I wanted to talk about John Mozeliak and his starting rotation and whether or not he's making the same mistake that he made a year ago. And I've got a very specific thought on this, Marsh. It's not just whether or not the starting rotation is going to be good or average or good enough, although that last part is where the specific mistake comes from. I think last year, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think last year Mo looked at his rotation and said, this is going to be good enough with the bullpen and especially the offense, more so with the offense, to get us by.
I think Yeah, I think what his mindset is this rotation is good enough to get us to the trade deadline.
Right.
Because that is how he typically operates. We're fine. Then we'll see. We'll reassess what we need at the deadline. If we need another starter like they did in 2022, they'll go out and they'll get one or two. And that was a good move. Like, I think everyone would agree. Like, that was a good trade for Montgomery and for geez, I'm blanking on his name now.
Jose Quintana.
Yes.
Yeah, there was. He's made good moves at the deadline. The last couple of times that he bought, he made good moves. Jordan Montgomery for Harrison Bader, who was injured at the time, was a good trade. Obviously, Jose Quintana, that wound up being a really good trade as well. He wound up starting the playoff game for you. Probably should have won. You
got to get there, though. That's
right.
The problem, and that was the problem for this team last year, was they were not good enough to even get to the trade deadline to where they were in a position to make the playoffs.
He also, as we know now, and this is hindsight, because I like the offense too. I'm not gonna be hypocritical here.
Mm-hmm.
When we sat there at Ballpark Village last year for opening day, I said this offense is good enough to carry you. The rotation only has to be average. That obviously wasn't true.
No.
That not only did that not hold up, it was just a dumb thought. But I worry that Mo is making the same mistake. Is this rotation better than it was? excuse me, a year ago? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because Sonny Gray is a frontline starter. He is somebody that can take the ball every 5 days, and you know he's going to be pretty consistent for you. The rest of the rotation is Miles Mikolas, who is coming off a roller coaster season, Lance Lynn, who did not post good numbers a year ago, Kyle Gibson, who gave up 2, and this is spring training. I don't care,
right?
But since this is his only start thus far in spring training, Kyle Gibson gave up home runs in back-to-back at-bats to start the game today.
Who is one of those players?
Lane Thomas was one of those players.
Interesting.
Yeah, who gave up for John Lester a couple years ago. And then Steven Matz, who in 2 years, his only 2 years for the Cardinals, hasn't given you much because of injuries. I worry about Mo making the same mistake that he made a year ago and thinking, my offense is going to be really good. Mm-hmm. My offense is going to be better than it was a year ago. It's going to be really good. And I know the bullpen is better. Even if I think the bullpen's better and the offense is going to be better, your starting rotation should not be viewed as, I think it's good enough.
I mean, I agree. I think, unfortunately, and I'm not trying to throw this out into the ether, but you're a Sonny Gray injury away from having a disaster of a season.
Yes.
Because you have zero depth rotation-wise, like good depth.
Unless one of these young guys emerges.
For sure. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
It's a risk and it's a wild card scenario. But I don't want to overlook that because this is a bridge year. I've mentioned this. Mm-hmm. Kyle Gibson is on a 1-year deal. Lance Lynn is on a 1-year deal. Steven Matz only has 2 years left. And if he's terrible this year or is injury prone again next year, you don't care because then next year he's on a 1-year deal. Mm-hmm. You are going to need to revamp your starting rotation with internal options. So I don't mind that there's the depth is actually going to come from your farm system. I'm good with that. But as we've also discussed, is it going to be good depth? Mm-hmm. Are these guys going to be ready? Is somebody going to catch, are the Cardinals going to catch lightning in a bottle with one of these young guys? And I don't mean being fine. I think Zach Thompson could be fine. Could Zach Thompson be great? Could any of these young guys be great?
I'm looking at what I would want, and I think you're probably thinking the same thing, is a 2013 Michael Wacha to emerge from this organization.
Yes.
That's what they need.
Exactly. Now, Michael Wacha, obviously long-term didn't work out, as we know, the injuries, but go back to what he was his rookie season. Mm-hmm. When everybody was talking about, holy smokes, the baton eventually is going to get passed from Adam Wainwright to Michael Wacha, who are like carbon copies of each other. I don't remember the last time we have felt that way.
Maybe Jack Flaherty.
Maybe Flaherty's fine.
Yeah.
But Flaherty, how long ago do we have to go back to Jack Flaherty? 2019?
Yeah.
I think it's 2019. Maybe 2020?
He had spurts, and that's the thing with Jack Flaherty. He had spurts where you're like, man, this guy looks unstoppable.
Yeah.
And then he would get injured. And you're like, okay. And then he became what he became.
I want to go back here. So 2020, he only made 9 starts. So you got to go 2019 with Jack Flaherty. 2019.
And he was
to feel good about a young pitcher within this farm system.
He was really good the beginning of that year and then got injured.
He only made 9 starts. The 2019 season was that historic back half. Mm-hmm. And you can say, well, the injury, what do you want the Cardinals to do? He got injured. I want the Cardinals to be prepared with their young pitching. That's what I want. We hear this, and I know it's not pitching, but we hear this a lot with Oscar Taveras. Hey, if Oscar Taveras didn't tragically pass away in that automobile accident, maybe they don't have to make the Marcell Ozuna trade. Sure. So you're putting all your eggs in one basket,
You should have 2, or maybe like a 1A, 1B type of player like that.
You finally do position player-wise because you have Jordan Walker, you have Mason Wynn. The offense, long-term, future-wise, the future looks bright.
I agree.
But the pitching staff, do you have the depth that's going to be quality? Is somebody going to emerge like Spencer Strider did for Atlanta, like Logan Webb did for San Francisco, like, you know, name your favorite Mariners young pitcher, whether it's Logan Webb or whether it's, who's the other kid? George Kirby. Mm-hmm. Young pitchers that are highly touted that come up and actually make an impact.
I think that's why this upcoming MLB draft this summer is huge for this team, because it's an opportunity to draft a top 10 pitcher, which, when was the last time we could say that? And what if they don't even draft a pitcher? What if they go for a positional player? How will that make you feel?
I hope, well, look, take the best player that you think is going to be impactful, but I hope it's a pitcher.
Yes.
I do, because you have to now reinvest in your pitching, and they have to some degree. Their trades of the trades that they made last year, Tink Hence, Gordon Graceffo, they're now armed with a lot. They took that shotgun approach that I often talk about, because one guy's going to get hurt. Like, let's go back to the trade deadline. One guy's going to get hurt, one guy's not going to make it, one guy's just going to be a reliever. But can you get a number 3 or a number 2 starter out of that group? That's all I'm asking for. Because you take that shotgun approach and say, hey, we're going to add 5 guys. Great. If you got all your eggs in one basket, that's how you get to Alex Reyes, or that's how you get to Jack Flaherty. You're like, we got our pitching. No, you don't. Guy could get hurt. Guy could be ineffective. Guy could be both.
And I think for me, and maybe it's not fair, but like those guys, I don't think that they're not ready. Like, they're not ready, but I think we want this team to be good this season. Why wouldn't we, right? But I don't think that they have aligned themselves with the positional players, also with the bullpen. The best teams, they find ways throughout like a 5-year stretch to try and align both of those things up to where they have, 2 or 3 years of a window to be good. The teams like the Braves, they've aligned everything, and then they went out and they got the pieces that they need. Like, you just don't see that here. I feel like this offense is good enough. I feel like it has the potential on paper. Now, last year it was not nearly good enough, but I feel like that potential is there with some guys on the team in another year of experience and whatnot. But they have not aligned their pitching staff. Like, we can look at the offseason and be like, they didn't do anything. I'm looking back like 3, 4, 5 years ago. Like, what you did not have the foresight to make your ball club a World Series contender, and you have 2 of the best players in the world on your team.
Right. Yeah. They invested in the offense. They did, and it hasn't worked out.
No.
Because your offense didn't carry you a year ago. And if Mo is banking on the bullpen and the offense overcoming maybe some of the limitations for the starting rotation, I fear that he's making the same mistake 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that's opening day last year.
Right.
You lose in a high-scoring game. Like, that was the epitome of last year. All right,
that's Andrew Marsham, Anthony Stalter. Jamie Rivers will be joining us shortly. It's the Fast Lane. We asked for your mic drops about where's your hope-o-meter when it comes to the Cardinals winning the division, and we also said winning at least one playoff series. Is your hope 25%, 50%, 75%? How optimistic are you? How pessimistic are you? We're going to be doing your mic drops on this coming up at 3 o'clock. We're going to do a football segment next, and then we'll also have what's trending too, so we'll give you plenty of time to get in your Cardinals-related mic drops. But the free agency in the NFL is going to be fascinating. not just from a quarterback standpoint, although we'll certainly start there, but there's some free agents that can make a huge impact this upcoming season. Where could they land? That's next on 101 ESPN. Mosby Building Arts needs to be your first and only call if you have a home remodeling project. They do a fantastic job of making sure that you're taken care of right away and are up to speed throughout the course of the process. And Mosby Building Arts, and I was there a couple of weeks ago, and I had an opportunity to chat with some of the people that oversee Mosby Building Arts. These people are passionate. They care about their clients and their customers, and they know that with their expertise and the way they do things, that they are the absolute best remodeling company. And Mosby, they come into contact with homeowners on a regular basis that wish they would have called Mosby the first time around. Most homeowners know that Mosby, they know the Mosby name, they know the reputation. They usually desire to use Mosby, but for a variety of reasons, they go with a different remodeler. And a lot of times it comes down to pricing. They may go to a big box company and say, we're going to redo our kitchen. And that big box company gives them a price without even taking measurements or asking the client what they want to do with that kitchen. So what winds up happening is the client thinks they're saving all this money throughout the course of the project. They're not, because then things get added and things get delayed. And then they're waiting and they're displaced and they don't have a kitchen for months. Not at Mosby. Mosby waits until all the materials are in for your project, then they get started. And they have in-house electricians, plumbers, contract. Everybody's in-house at Mosby. So if you want to do it right from the start, give my friends at Mosby Building Arts a call at 314-909-1800, 314-909-1800. You can also visit them at callmosby.com. It's Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lose in overtime last night to the Edmonton Oilers by a final of 3-2. They will be back in action tomorrow, taking on the Minnesota Wild. Saturday, taking on the Minnesota Wild. I wish today was Friday. Pregame starts at 4 o'clock. Puck drop is at 5, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. Tonight, we have some NBA action for you as the Nuggets take on the Heat. Pregame starting at 8:30. We're going to dive into the NFL and some free agents. That's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at Londoff.com and LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Jamie Rivers is in the house. He's getting situated here, so he'll be with us for the remainder of the show beyond this segment. With Andrew Marsh, I'm Anthony Stalter. Appreciate everybody tuned in. If you want to participate in our mic drop theme today, we're asking you, where is the hope-o-meter for you when it comes to the Cardinals winning the NL Central and winning at least one playoff series? And we threw it out there. What's the percentage? From 0 to 100%. 0, obviously, you've got absolutely no faith, and 100%, it's a guarantee that they're going to win at least one playoff series. So where's your hope-o-meter? Leave us a mic drop, and we'll revisit that at 3 o'clock, but also throughout the course of the show. A little football. Got NFL free agency starting soon. And Marsh, I don't know how you feel, but I think this could be one of the wildest and best and most interesting NFL free agencies, free agent periods that we've seen.
I agree. I'm looking at some of these names that we have popped up in, some quarterbacks, some running backs, some big names that it will kind of be a shock to fans to see in a different uniform, if that is the case.
So the number one free agent to me is Chris Jones. He's 30 years old. He's a game wrecker. If the Chiefs can't figure out a way to bring him back, one, that's a devastating blow for them. But if he moves on, he also becomes a centerpiece for a team. And the NFL Network, or NFL.com, put together a list of projected teams where free agents can go to. And Chris Jones, they have going to the Houston Texans.
I would not mind that.
That would be fun. I would love to see him go back to Kansas City.
For sure.
But when it comes to moving on, Houston, young, up-and-coming team, C.J. Stroud on one side, and DeMeco Ryans did a remarkable job with that defense on the other. So Chris Jones going to Houston, I think, is a very interesting fit. But if we want to concentrate on some of the other big names, I'll save the quarterbacks here for a second. Josh Jacobs, running back for the Raiders, they've got him projected to go to the Cowboys, which I think is interesting. So they let Zeke go last year. He winds up with the Patriots. But they wanted to see Tony Pollard come back and have that resurgence season where it's like, hey, you're the number one back. And I feel bad for Tony Pollard because the injury that he suffered, I don't think he was completely healthy last year. And I do think he's an RB1 if he's completely healthy. The Cowboys rolling it back with Tony Pollard doesn't make a lot of sense. Josh Jacobs at 26 years old is an interesting fit. Did not have a good year last year, but the Raiders didn't have a good season. 2 years ago, though, he was their bell cow back, the featured player in their offense, and somebody that I believe led the league in rushing, if I remember correctly, a couple years ago.
He was pretty damn good.
So Josh Jacobs going to Dallas, I think, is a really good fit. I also like the fact that they've got Mike Evans going back to Tampa. There's some people that say, well, why wouldn't the Chiefs sign Mike Evans? I'll tell you why. Because they should be concentrating on Snead, the cornerback, and Chris Jones, definitely their defensive tackle. Chris Jones being one, Snead being two. Mike Evans, you don't know. Project the fall off for Mike Evans. Because at 31 years old, he probably is fine for a couple of years. But the fall off could happen dramatically. And I don't think the Chiefs are one of these teams that operate in the manner of, hey, let's just add a bunch of, we're already good. Let's just add a bunch of free agents now that they're out of their prime. He's a good player. He'd be interesting with Mahomes. But I think the Chiefs would be better served allocating the few caps that few cap space that they have to guys like Chris Jones who play a more impactful position.
Yeah, it would be interesting because we just saw their dynamic this year where the offense wasn't as good as it was previously, but the defense, this was probably the best defense that they've had since Mahomes has been under center. I wonder if they want to roll that back or if they want to get back to sort of that high-flying offense. Do you know by off chance how old Randy Moss was when he went to the Patriots? And by no means am I comparing Randy Moss to Mike Evans, but...
Well, he was a rookie in 98. So he was probably 34 when he got to the Patriots, maybe 35.
Again, I'm not trying to compare Randy Moss to Mike Evans by any means, but Mike Evans is that deep threat, and I wonder if they want that back to where they have that high-flying offense again with Mike Evans as that deep threat.
His first year with the Patriots, believe it or not, was only 30.
Okay, so right around the same age.
He entered the league at 21. So I was thinking even back then 23, 24. No, he entered the league at 21. So he was 30 with the Patriots. He looked 34 the year prior with Oakland. He looked like he was done and washed up. The Patriots knew better though. Yeah, could they get a deep threat? I also think that the Chiefs could get a deep threat in the middle rounds. I think they could look at the second round, the third round. They just won 2 Super Bowls without having a bona fide outside receiver.
Right.
And Rashee Rice is going to be a solid wide receiver.
For sure.
Is he going to be Devontae Adams? Is he going to be Mike Evans in his prime? Is he going to be Justin Jefferson? No. But you can get by with that provided that Travis Kelce's healthy in the middle and just wrecking teams in the middle of the field.
What does he profile as? Like a Chris Godwin?
Who's that?
Rashee Rice?
I think Rashee Rice can win outside the numbers. Chris Godwin's more of a slot receiver.
More slot guy,
yeah. So Rashee Rice is more, I don't know what the perfect projection for him to be. I could see him being as talented as Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
Calvin Ridley wins on the ground, you know, which what I mean by that is he's a precision route runner, somebody that can beat you deep, but he's outside the numbers. I don't think Rice is exclusive to the slot. I think they can use him outside the numbers too.
Gotcha.
And I liked his projection, his development throughout the course of the year last year. This fit I love. Saquon Barkley to the Ravens.
That would be sweet.
Either Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley to the Ravens.
And Derrick Henry's on this list too.
He is. They've got him, and I don't like this fit. I don't understand it at all. But they have Derrick Henry going to the Patriots.
I don't like that either. I understand why.
I mean, I guess they're trying to pair it up because they had Zeke last year with Ramondre Stevenson. When Ramondre Stevenson is healthy,
he's good back.
Give him the ball 20 to 25 times. He's somebody more than capable of carrying your running game.
Yeah, his yards per carry 2 seasons ago was pretty decent.
I don't think you need Derrick Henry if you're the Patriots, but if you're the Ravens, Saquon Barkley with Lamar, with Zay Flowers. I know he had a rough AFC Championship game, but he's somebody that emerges. You're going to have a healthy Mark Andrews back. That offense could look really good with Saquon Barkley.
I agree.
And then you don't have to invest heavily in a first or second round running back if you're the Ravens. So that would be good. You move on from, J.K. Dobbins, unfortunately, it is what it is. And then you can also pair Saquon Barkley with Keaton Mitchell, who was explosive last year. He'll be coming off the injury, but they got a little speed there too. All right, quickly, some of the quarterbacks. Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins should and will return to the Vikings.
I hope so. I didn't wear this shirt for nothing, Anthony.
I don't see Kirk Cousins moving on. I think at 35 years old, I think he found his home. I think they sign him for another 3 years. 2 or 3 year deal, maybe 2-year deal with an option. They guarantee the contract again, and they keep their quarterback in place.
Well, I think it's the best fit for him too. If not that the Vikings are going to win a Super Bowl or anything. I would love if they did, but I feel like out of the teams that I've heard, I feel like Minnesota gives you the best opportunity to win. Plus, you're throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson, who's like the best wide receiver in the game.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good fit.
Plus, if you want to extend Justin Jefferson on a long-term deal,
it helps.
You might want to keep Kirk Cousins around. The other free agent quarterback is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield returning to Tampa makes all the sense in the world.
I agree.
He bounced around. He was with Cleveland. Obviously felt as though that he wasn't given every opportunity to succeed in Cleveland, felt unwanted. He gets out of that situation, goes to Carolina, hates that spot, goes to the Rams, has a little bit of success with the Rams, and parlays that into a very inexpensive deal with Tampa. He's not guaranteed the job. He wins it in training camp and winds up leading the Buccaneers to the playoffs. If they re-sign Mike Evans, you got Godwin, you got, some decent talent there. Bringing back Baker Mayfield makes sense. I've heard teams like Atlanta. Why would Atlanta sign Baker Mayfield? You have the number 8 overall pick. Move up, get your future quarterback, and be done with it. I've heard the same thing with Kirk Cousins. Would Kirk Cousins be a good fit in Atlanta? Of course. They don't have a quarterback. But why would you sign a 35, 36-year-old quarterback when you need to restart? It's not like Atlanta's picking 17th. They're picking 8th. Mm-hmm. Make a move. Or sit and pick. Mm-hmm. We've seen, it seems like the Chargers sit and pick. Wind up with Justin Herbert. Dolphins sit and pick. Wind up with Tua. They're in a position with all the quarterbacks that are going to be available. I don't understand why they would go out and get a free agent. All right. What's trending is next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN.
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane.
Hey, it's your turn, Marsh.
Yeah.
I'm used to driving, but for trending, it's Marsh. Welcome back, Jamie.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey, Jamie.
Trying to fix my microphone.
That's fine.
Every time I'm gone for a few days, somebody jacks things up around here.
Yeah, sorry about that.
These kids these days.
Probably
no?
Ferrario.
Friggin' Ferrario.
Anyways, what's trending? Jamie's back. Anthony, you're here too.
Hey.
It's time for What's Trending. Jamie, we were talking about the Blues earlier to start off the show. 3-2 loss in overtime. Just what are your general thoughts of the game?
Yeah, I thought the Blues had a good start. I really did. And obviously that Thomas goal on the power play, that was just a piss missile. I mean, he rang the bell on the way by there. Did you see that thing?
Yes.
Ding! I was like, son of a batch of biscuits.
Oh.
By the way, I think somebody had him for first goal. Can't remember who. But,
Oh, Jamie's. He opened up his lead now with 4, right?
I don't know. Whatever the math says.
It is 4, yeah. 4, what is it, 4-2-1-1?
Marsh and I stuck 1-1. I even started taking guys that I knew wouldn't score the first goal just to mix things up.
Well, he scores that goal. Then they get another goal. That line scores another goal. But there you go. That's your offense. We talked about that being one of the problems that you have is that when your top line is the only line that really can get you going,
Yep.
It's tough. And I think, last night it was an awkward kind of game because you had some matchups that you had to be very careful of. You certainly, when they double team you with Draisaitl and McDavid on the same line, and then Zach Hyman, who's now a 40 goal scorer.
Holy smokes.
Hey, Toronto, you probably could use a guy like that goes to the paint, but nah, let's let him go. Either way, those guys are tough to defend. And so you have your hands full. You don't have last change. I thought Jordan Binnington had a strong game. I think he'd like the overtime winner back.
Certainly.
If we're going to talk about that, he's sliding with McDavid on that play. And the problem with Connor McDavid is that he's so able to have a quick speed burst. And if you don't track him as he's going, you're too late. You're like a half a second late. And on that one there, Binnington got a little too far, like sliding a little too far to the right. And then it hit his shoulder. And had he not been sliding, it would have went wide, off of his shoulder and wide. But this one hits the shoulder and just kind of caroms in to the other side of the net. And he wasn't happy with that, of course.
Yeah.
But Marshy, I heard you as I was driving in here from the airport after Bluebird 1 landed. And you're talking about Robert Thomas on the overtime goal. Mm-hmm. So I obviously watched that goal many times. Here's what happens. In the neutral zone, you're right. He has a terrible angle on this one. But do you know why?
No, I don't.
Okay. Because Connor McDavid is the fastest human in the world.
Oh, for sure.
On ice. So he's trying to get ahead of him, to stay ahead of him, stay above the puck. Now, he knows he has two guys back there, and it's Connor McDavid and one other player. The other Oiler's not even in the picture. Mm-hmm. So it's essentially a 2-on-3. So what he's trying to do at this point is dictate one side of the ice that he's not going to be able to go to. Because if you let Connor McDavid skate down the middle of the ice, now you can go anywhere. So now Robert Thomas, he skates ahead of him and then curls back, almost pushing him too bad to bad ice, if there is bad ice for Connor McDavid. The problem is that instead of pushing him into Colton Parayko, he's pushing him into Jordan Kyrou.
Right.
Who, I don't know if you guys know this. I don't think he's nominated for the Selke Trophy.
I haven't seen his name there.
Defensive forward.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be either.
No. Which is unfortunate. And quite honestly, almost any forward that would have been on the ice at that point would have their hands full. Any defenseman would have their hands full with Connor McDavid at that point. And so Connor McDavid scoots around Robert Thomas and then around Jordan Kyrou. And actually, Jordan Kyrou doesn't do a horrible job of guiding him to the lowest percentage area. When McDavid takes this shot, the puck is literally on the bottom of the circle. Mm-hmm. Really shouldn't have gone in, but because Jordan Binnington was sliding a little too aggressively, it ends up going in the back of the net.
I just felt that in that moment, you need to take the best player in the world and put him on his backhand to the side where Colton Parayko is, And either he drives in that on his backhand and you have Bennington on that near side post with his glove. And like I told Anthony earlier, we saw the same thing in overtime with Leon Draisaitl driving the net and Bennington made a great save. Or he peels off and allows you time to reset your defense, and then you go 3-on-3 inside the D zone.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bad angle. And
you're right.
And I didn't like the reaching. I don't know, just like growing up playing hockey, like you always get reprimanded for reaching. I just didn't like it.
Sometimes with the reaching, and I know what you're talking about, sometimes with the reaching, though, you're actually using your stick as a tool to guide the opposition to where you want them to be.
For sure.
And so you make yourself big, is what they say. Get your stick out there, taking away the middle of the ice. So now he's going to go somewhere else. Look at guys, let's just be honest. It's Connor friggin' McDavid.
Oh, I get it.
And it's 3-on-3.
I get it.
There's not a lot of help out there.
Yeah. A lot of space, a lot of time.
Yeah.
But I thought Marsh brought up some really good points there. If I'm thinking about it from a football standpoint, you're a cornerback. You want to drive that wide receiver to the sidelines and use him as an extra defender.
Yeah, you want to just try and take away the good field, we'll say.
And you've talked about that a lot of times with the boards. But, yeah, Connor McJesus is still going to be able to make a play.
It is a bang-bang play, too. That is us looking at the video and breaking it down.
Sure.
And
he's actually on the ice.
This is in real time, so
right.
I can't blame him for that. But I just think in that moment, that's what I would have done.
Sure.
Or at least attempted to. He probably would have walked me.
I've been down that road with some of the best players in the world, and you have a plan. You look, this is exactly the way it should be. And then they have like an ulterior plan. They have like plan B. You don't. And plan B turns into the back of your net. And you're like, oh, I played the right way.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter with those guys.
I'm just reminded of the famous quote from Mike Tyson, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
That's a fact.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We're going to talk to Chris Kerber in about 15 minutes, so more Blues hockey to come. But we asked for your mic drops related to the Cardinals. Where's your hope-o-meter? Where's the hope-o-meter right now, percentage-wise, when it comes to the Cardinals not only winning the division, but also winning a playoff series?
How about winning a game?
Okay. Jamie.
Well, our guy Gibby. It's a tough one.
But he did fine after the first two batters.
Did he?
Yeah. Where's your hope-o-meter next on 101 ESPN?
Can't wait.
Never been a big fan of a parlay bet. The probability is just really difficult. I'd say 50% for a chance for us to win the division and 15% to win the first round afterwards.
It's always about hope, big boy.
There you go, Mike. Mike with a very reasonable and intelligent response there to our mic drop question. Where's the hope-o-meter for you and the Cardinals in relation to them not only winning a division, but also winning at least one playoff series? And Mike broke it down. He didn't like the parlay play. He's gonna go straight up on these. I think I'm in Mike's range there for both. I can see them winning the division. I can see them having a bounce back season, and I don't have to squint in order to do so. I have to squint to see them winning a playoff series.
Now, we talked about this last week. Do they have to win a series, or does a bye to the second round count?
Now let's do a winning the series, winning at least one series.
You technically did win a series if you didn't have to play it.
Nope.
No?
Nope. I'll give you credit for that? I'll give you credit for winning the division.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Okay, since we're on this topic. If they have to play in a wild card series, that means their season was less successful.
Right.
So then why would you not give them credit for that?
For winning.
Because technically they won the wild card series already by getting a bye.
Yeah, but they already.
So that would disprove
Jamie,
what you're saying.
That's a great point. We're not factoring in, though, that they kind of get a bye by playing in the NL Central.
When's the last time they got a bye, Anthony?
Well, the bye
when is the last time the Cardinals got a damn bye? You tell me right now.
The bye is the division.
No, but they've been in the same division, Anthony.
Yeah, it's a gift.
When's the last time they got a bye? It's been so damn long, you don't even know. So don't tell me it's just an automatic.
I'm not saying
they didn't get it 2 years ago,
Listen,
or the year before,
it's a
or
gift,
the year before.
Jamie. It's a gift to play in the Central.
It is, but then it should be a real big gift to get a bye every year.
No,
and they haven't.
Because they haven't been good enough.
I know, but
which is my issue.
You're talking in circles right now.
I am not talking in circles.
You have to build you and everything, but my God,
I missed you too, buddy. You got to build a successful roster.
Well, if you win the division, get a bye, that's kind of successful.
No, Jamie, let's hear from Dion next. Where is his hope-o-meter? I hope so. That'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
I would say my hope meter does not include a playoff series win, because the reality is it's against the Dodgers or the Braves, and we all know what that looks like. So I'm looking at more of a 60 to 70% hope for a division championship and just getting the fire back that was entirely lost last year. Given what that experience was for all of us last year, I think that is reasonable to expect.
Yeah, 60 to 70% just to win the division, I think, is pretty high, too. I'm about... I was at 60% before the Cubs re-signed Bellinger. Now I'm like 55%.
Oh, when did Bellinger sign?
Over the weekend.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, I think it was Sunday.
Sorry,
they don't care in Canada.
No, they don't care.
And if you guys want some news about the Blue Jays, I've got you covered.
Yeah, you've been knee-deep in Blue Jays coverage and or hockey coverage. No,
hockey,
Bellinger.
Blue Jays and snow.
Bellinger, 3 years, like $75 million. He did not get what he thought he was going to get.
Oh, how's he going to make ends meet now?
It's, the yacht.
I mean, that 25
fuel for the yacht
is going to be tough.
Taxes, the agent takes a cut. So
yeah, that's a good point.
Let's hear from Doug. Where's his hope-o-meter?
My hope-o-meter's high, very high, maybe close to 100. I believe that the Cardinals will be capable of winning a playoff series this year. I'm not saying they will, but I believe they're capable. The rotation and the bullpen have improved. I know the rotation isn't elite, but I don't think you don't have the liability that Wainwright was last year, as much as I love Wainwright. Good offense. You have Goldschmidt, Arenado, Walker, and Contreras, and I think that the offense is going to be okay. I think that you won't have the amount of blown saves that you had last year, so I think that there's reason really to be optimistic about this team, and I kind of think that they're being underestimated.
I was waiting for, I don't know, just because it's us, I was waiting for snark or sarcasm to come in there, but Doug was speaking his truth there. He's really high on this team, 100%.
I like the way you said that.
100%.
It is legal now, Anthony.
Yeah.
In Missouri.
I don't quite see.
Don't you shame our listeners.
I'm not shaming him. I'm a little surprised that even the most optimistic Cardinals fan, which I believe Doug now is, 100%.
He said
like a guarantee. You're going to put a guarantee on the box on that one.
If you go back, he didn't say he believes 100% they're going to win the series. He goes, I believe they're 100% capable.
Well, his hope-o-meter is at 100%.
Yeah.
Even still.
It's a lot.
Doesn't seem high. Doesn't Doug seem high with that?
He's probably a bit high with that, yeah. But you know what? I don't care.
No,
I like it when Doug's high like that.
I think we should all be that high when it comes to the Cardinals this year.
Yeah, you be careful.
Yeah. Depending on what you're doing. Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to Nick, and then we'll...
You all choked up, are you?
Yeah.
Love the Cardinals, don't you?
I certainly do. Let's hear from Nick.
My hope-o-meter for the Cardinals is about 30%. I think they could have a top 15 offense. They could actually have a pretty good bullpen, but I think the starting rotation is going to be absolutely atrocious. They're going to be giving up 5 to 6 runs a game, even if they can get into the 7th inning doing that. And we saw it last year. This offense has been terribly inconsistent. Runners in scoring position, they were terrible. There's going to be stretches where they could win 10 games in a row and then easily lose 10 games in a row because sometimes this offense just goes completely quiet. My hope-o-meter for the Blues is basically dead. They've had the ability to control their own destiny through like this last 10-game stretch, and they've showed absolutely zero heart except for like 1 or 2 games. And even when they did show heart, like last night, they still blew a 2-0 lead and ended up losing the game ultimately. So I'm hoping some of these prospects come up so I can watch them and see what they're going to do, and then just wait to see what they do in the offseason, what next season looks like.
Nick
took a U-turn, Laverne there.
He did.
My goodness.
We're not going to hand you any extra credit on that, Nick. I mean, we wanted you to stick to the assignments, not bury 2 teams. But, hey, Nick's got his thoughts. We gave Doug his run. Nick has his thoughts. I think I'm somewhere in between Doug and Nick when it comes to the old hope-o-meter.
You're in the Doug and Nick sandwich, are you?
Yep.
Attaboy. So you're the meat.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right, let's get to Kerbs. Chris Kerber's going to join us next. Talk a little Blues hockey with him. But if you still want to send in your mic drops.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. Hey, I have an opportunity to talk to Kerbs next on 101 ESPN.
More about Connect With Me at connectwithmeapp.com.
Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
Hey, guys, Chris Kerber here, and listen, nobody wants to buy an HVAC system. We know that. Never, ever do you sit there and go, I can't wait to do this. How about this one? Nobody wants to have to repair one either. But guess what? It happens. Eventually, they age out, they break. Eventually, they need some repair. They definitely need yearly maintenance. And when you hit that point, you know that there's somebody there to help. It's the folks at Classic Air Care. They have been making people comfortable since 1926. They stand by their work. They hire everybody locally. It's a conglomeration, basically, of a bunch of different local companies over the years. So these are companies that have been servicing the furnaces and the air conditioners in your neighborhood for decades. Go ahead and check out their reviews on Google. They've got a 4.8 rating. So for all your HVAC needs, go to classicaircare.com. You can schedule repairs online as well and make it easy. They'll text you when they're on their way so you know that they're coming. So from repairs to replacements, for all your HVAC needs, classicaircare.com.
Time for Curbside with the voice of the Blues, Chris Kerber. Brought to you by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric Elite contractor.
Blues fall to the Oilers last night, 3-2 in overtime with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. We're now joined by the play-by-play man of your St. Louis Blues, Chris Kerber, who joins us via the 101 ESPN Celebrity Line. Welcome home, Kerbs.
Thank you, Anthony. How are you?
Doing good. Unfortunately for our Blues here, we've hit a bit of a rough stretch. What did you see last night that you either liked or came away frustrated by?
Nah, I didn't come away frustrated with last night very much at all. That was more of the game that if you lose, you're like, okay, we lost it. Mm-hmm. You know, and I guess one of the things is you got to keep in perspective that, you know, every game feels like it's that much more magnified because they've had such an inconsistent up and down season. But you played well enough to win the game, you know, and some bounces didn't go your way. But that's one of those games where the outcome could have been different. You know, Robert Thomas going in on a shorthanded breakaway in the third period to try and, you know, get the lead for the team, and his pocket gets picked. Things like that. It's going to happen from time to time. So I thought there was some positives. I thought there was a lot to build on, and I'm much more encouraged about the upcoming games because of that performance last night.
Kerbs, when you're watching Robert Thomas play these days, I mean, you know, what are you seeing from him that maybe we didn't see before? Or what? Better yet, what are you seeing from him that the rest of the hockey world maybe doesn't appreciate enough?
I actually think, and while I don't think he'd be in the conversation at the moment, especially because of the overall team performance from a finalist standpoint, but I think if you're talking about, you know, expanding out to the top 6, 7, maybe even top 10 conversations when it comes to a potential Selke trophy, I think Robert Thomas is starting to move himself into that consideration. You know, I don't know how many votes, if any, he'd get at this point in time, but he's getting there. And that, to me, is the biggest thing with him. He's picking up points. He's playing every minute. He has essentially stepped into that role of Ryan O'Reilly and that we saw. And I'll tell you what, when he's on his game, Jamie, he's relentless on the puck like Ryan O'Reilly was. You can clearly see that he learned from him, you know, and he's making things happen. I think even more consistency from his wingers would be a massive help to Robert Thomas, who's already, I think, having a terrific season. But I think he responded well after the benching a couple of games ago. I think he said the right things before the Winnipeg game. I think he's performed well in the last 2 games. And I don't think you're that far off from it being, you know, from talking about Robert Thomas for Selke consideration on a regular basis.
Kerbs, I did check my contract, and I am contractually obligated to ask you about the trade deadline. So, Blues right now, where we sit, given the losing skid here, has anything changed for Doug Armstrong, or do you think he already has his game plan and it's just a matter of waiting teams out?
I think that Doug Armstrong has game plan A, game plan B, game plan C, and game plan D. I believe that Doug Armstrong's probably had plenty of conversations with teams around the league about his potential UFAs, about maybe even some other hockey-type trades as well. I believe those discussions have been going on for a while. You know the deals, especially now, take a lot to do. I'm blown away. It's pretty impressive for Nashville, for example, to be where they are, right? Be looking to potentially add to their team and still have the ability to take on cap hits from other teams to make deals happen and potentially get draft picks. Smart season there for Barry Trotz in that front. So I believe that Doug has his plan. Now, which plan does he go with? Well, I think you still have a couple of games to go to determine that. You're 5 points out of a playoff spot. Unfortunately, I think Nashville has a much easier schedule than the St. Louis Blues down the stretch when you look at their schedule. They play Minnesota tonight, so I guess you got to root for Minnesota to win that game in regulation and leapfrog the Blues by a point because the Blues have 3 games this month against Minnesota. But I think the next couple games will really dictate. In other words, if you're out of it, maybe you are moving an unrestricted free agent for a 3rd or 4th round pick. That's not going to impact your team for 5 or 6 years. If you're in it, maybe you decide, heck with that, we'll just keep it and see what happens. Because I do know that he values making the playoffs. He definitely, making the playoffs does matter to him in a big way. And if there's a chance to do it by keeping some of this team together, I think he'll do it. So the next couple games will probably dictate which one of those plans he goes with.
Kerbs, Coach Drew Bannister has not been afraid to make tough decisions from the very moment he's gotten here. He's certainly had some moments where he's done some things that you're kind of like, wow, that's takes some guts to do that. The last game, he makes a couple of roster changes, and not that it took guts to do it, but he takes out a young defenseman in Scott Perunovich for the game in Edmonton, inserts Tyler Tucker, who hadn't played in a while. So in all fairness to Tyler Tucker, probably due to get a game. But in your opinion, what's the path moving forward? Not so much for the Blues regarding Scott Perunovich, but the path moving forward for Scott Perunovich to earn more ice time and earn more trust.
It's a heck of a challenge, isn't it? I mean, let's face it, they're 2 very different types of players. Actually, and let's put a third one in there, Kessel, right? If you've got 1 or 2 opportunities, what is it? The Blues value size. This team values size of defenseman. The whole league does. It doesn't mean that there's not room for a smaller defenseman to play, but I don't know how much room there is for 2 of them. And right now there's 2 of them with the Blues, and you've got a much more proven commodity with Torrey Krug. The first thing for Scott Perunovich is, 1, does he get enough games in? And I think he could miss a total of 9 more games and play the rest of them. And then he becomes a Group 2 free agent again, if my understanding of the math of the CBA is right. If he were to miss 9 more games or 10 more games total because other guys are playing in ahead of him, he becomes an unrestricted free agent. I don't know a real good answer to that one, Jamie. He's been okay on the power play. He doesn't shoot the puck enough, and if you don't have a threat from the top of at the blue line to shoot the puck, I just don't think it's good for your power play. So there's that aspect of it. You could see at times he'll battle with some of the size. He's got to skate. He's got to move. He's got to avoid contact. And, he's done a pretty good job for the most part avoiding injury this year. Hasn't missed a ton of time for that. So it really is a great question, and I think even just comes down to more of a numbers game of what direction the Blues philosophically head in defensively.
Kerbs, we're going to pivot to another young player, Zach Bolduc. He's had a couple of games here now with the big club. And, what are you seeing out of him? Are you seeing a bit of an evolution in his play? And does he look a little more confident? In your opinion, you've watched these games. What do you think?
Man, I had no idea really what to expect because you got a young man there that lit it up in juniors. And as he said, his quote to me was, I knew going into every hockey game in junior, I'm like, okay, I'm going to score a goal at some point in time or pick up some points at some point in time. That's obviously very different than at the NHL level. In the American League, they focus so much on his two-way game and responsible style of play that they weren't concerned about his offense. necessarily. And before he got called up, that offense started to come around. I think he's played four very good. And so for me personally, I go in with zero expectations when we see somebody for the first time for a while. Because as you notice, and you and I were talking about this yesterday before the game, sometimes you're a little wide-eyed going, wow, this game's going fast around me, right? So I think he's looked solid. I think Drew Bannister has used him sparingly in certain situations. As you and I were talking yesterday, philosophically, we could have a great debate on should you just be putting them in there and not taking them off that line, let them get face-offs on both ends of the ice, that kind of thing. But then, last night there were a couple of young blips and mistakes against, Connor McDavid and some. You could definitely tell that Nootbaar, the head coach of Edmonton, was trying to get certain matchups for McDavid and Draisaitl. And so you saw some of those young mistakes. But all in all, with averaging about, 10 minutes a game now over 4 games, including the 15 minutes that he played in Detroit, I think that the Blues can look at him and say, okay, you've got a player that clearly has speed, definitely has a shot. Can it all come together at the NHL level? But there is definite potential with him, without a doubt.
Kerbs, before we let you go, how would you assess Drew Bannister to this point?
Yeah, it's such an interesting question, isn't it? He's hamstrung a little bit because he's got the interim tag.
Sure.
And Jamie could talk to this more than I could. I can only talk to having talked to players. He can talk about living it. I don't know that players fully buy into an interim head coach, and especially if things are just going okay. They turned the corner so well with Craig Berube. I don't think it was looked that way, But when it goes well but not great, especially when you got a lot of players that are still under contract, how does it go? I don't know where that sits with this team. I haven't had those conversations. I think one thing's for sure. And I've said this on the air with some of the other shows, that, he may not have the size and the bravado of that type of career that Craig Berube had, but he really is saying a lot of the same stuff. You earn your ice time. We've told him what we need. Either do it or we move you down the lineup, or in the case like Kapanen, we moved him out of the lineup, right? Things like that. He's very direct with these players. I think you got to be encouraged. He's taken a team that for close to 100 games was below 500. They've played over 500 with him. That's a positive. So, I think it's fair to say that evaluation is still going on, and he's doing a pretty solid job keeping the Blues in the thick of things, despite those other challenges.
All right, Kerbs, enjoy a couple days at home here. I guess it's more than a couple days, right? You guys don't head back on the road until, what, Monday?
Sunday.
A
couple days, Anthony.
Anyways, have fun at home for a few days, Kerbs. We'll talk to you again next week.
All right, guys. Have an awesome rest of the week. Talk to you later.
All right, that's Chris Kerber here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. You can listen to him on Saturday, pregame. Blues Wild, 4 o'clock is the puck drop from Enterprise Center as the Blues take on the Minnesota Wild. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Keep those mic drops coming in about the Cardinals and where your hope-o-meter is at. We're going to stick with the Cardinals. We're going to talk about ceiling and floor, Jamie. Jordan Walker, player like Jordan Walker. What's his ceiling for 2024? What's his floor? We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues lose in overtime last night to the Edmonton Oilers by a final score of 3-2. They'll take on the Minnesota Wild on Saturday. Pregame starts at 4. Puck drop is at 5, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. Today, the Cardinals took on the Washington Nationals in spring training. They lost 3-1. Kyle Gibson went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 earned runs, struck out 2, gave up 2 home runs as well. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. If you missed anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We are also taking your mic drops. What is your hopo-meter for the Cardinals this season? Give us a percentage. Send us a mic drop. Send us a text to the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. We'll dive more into the Cardinals coming up next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time to fly down to Florida for a spring training report on 101 ESPN.
Presented by E&P Granite, Brooke, Jamie, Curbs, and Bernie Federko's choice for countertops and cabinets.
My hope meter as for the Cardinals to win the Central or win a playoff series is near empty. I'm really more or less just hopeful that they'll be at least 500. You know, they only won 71 games last year. I really struggle to see how this team could be that much better to where people are thinking they're going to win 85 to 90 games and possibly the division. I just don't see that.
Well, honest, I am now depressed by what Matt just said over the Cardinal rallies there. Where's your hope-o-meter for the Cardinals heading into this season, whether it's to win the NL Central and or win a playoff series? Matt, he said, is near empty. So we'll put him at, 2%.
Do you think that's being realistic, or he's just still upset about last year? Because I don't feel like 0 is a realistic number for hope.
No, I
feel like that's like anger.
Yeah, Jamie, you played hockey your entire life because you're just absolutely gifted. So you didn't have a real job there for a while. But company,
well,
you know what I mean?
You sound like somebody else in my life.
No, I mean...
Let's go off and, you're just playing that hockey thing.
You'd have a 9 to 5 gig.
You're right. Everybody else can do it. That's right. Anybody can do it.
That's why I said you're gifted.
I'm projecting my anger at you right now. Someone else.
I won't take it personally.
Don't.
Because I feel as though you're talking through me to somebody else.
So boy, am I ever.
9 to 5.
I hope they're listening.
You didn't have a 9 to 5er.
No.
Marsh, you've had a 9 to 5er.
It's more like an 11 to 7. But
11 to 7er.
Yeah.
Companies will come to employees and take, like the bigger companies, they'll have you take a survey. Like, hey, how do you like the facilities here? And how do you like your manager? And
how do you like the owner of the team?
Yeah. The worst in the league. But I used to work for one of the big box companies right out of college as I was searching for, working in radio.
Jack in the Box?
No, it wasn't Jack in the Box. That'd have been nice, though.
How big was the box?
It was a very big box.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Circuit City.
I did work for Circuit City, but this isn't the one I was talking. This is not the one I'm talking about. Yeah. So, anyways, Jamie, I was talking to, I was filling out this survey, and one of the older guys that worked there too. He goes, don't put. I don't know if it was 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. He goes, don't put a 10 and don't put a 1. I go, why? It's my honest opinion. He goes, they'll throw it out. They don't take the 10s. They don't take the 1s because they feel as though you're not being realistic. So, Jamie, to your point, I don't think like Matt or who was it? Doug. Doug was like 100%. Matt was basically a 0%. Not to throw out their mic drops and their thoughts because their feelings matter,
of course.
But I don't think that's realistic. So to answer your question, I think Matt is probably overly pessimistic. Doug overly optimistic. And if we're going on a survey here, we just throw those out.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's fine. Spring training is here, and everybody starts to feel one way or another about their team. And right now, obviously, our team is the Cardinals. So you have a feeling. On one day, you're like, wow, this team. Like today, Arenado had a couple of big defensive plays. He's back. He's back. Mm-hmm. And then tomorrow might be something like we're screwed. We're screwed.
They still haven't had a home run yet, Jamie.
Oh, yeah, they did. They gave up 2 early today.
No. I mean, off the... Yeah, good call. Yeah. Same guy, too, Kyle Gibson. That's nice.
I believe it might have been 2 pitches.
It might have been 2 pitches. You know, he allowed 4 batted balls in the first inning. They were all 100+ off the bat. Is that good?
Yeah, what was the launch angle? Pretty high on a couple.
Not great on a couple. Well, 2 were great. The other 2 not great because I think there was some ground ball outs.
There you go.
Thanks to Arenado. But I don't know. When it comes to like the hope-o-meter, I guess I'm a little hopeful that they'll win the division. I have zero hope that they'll actually win a playoff series. But we'll continue to talk about this. I wanted to ask you, let's play a floor and ceiling game, guys.
Okay.
Let's start with Jordan Walker. What do you think the ceiling is for Jordan Walker? What do you think the floor is for Jordan Walker in 2024?
But what are we using? Like
you can use
stats.
You can use stats.
A comparable player.
You can use comparables. You could use hardware if you want. Whatever you want for Jordan Walker.
Well, I don't see any hardware in his future for this year, but I don't. Let's just be real here.
Yeah, I think he's being honest.
Yeah, I'm being completely honest.
You don't have Jordan Walker as an MVP candidate.
No, I don't. Or a Gold Glove candidate.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. See? So I'm not that crazy.
He'll be
don't answer.
He'll be holding that commissioner's trophy, that big hunk of metal.
Oh boy.
At the end of the year.
It's just a hunk of metal. Okay, your
commissioner said that, by the way.
He basically just crushed every fan.
So the ceiling for Jordan Walker, wow. I don't know.
I'll give you. So here's.
Yeah, help me out.
Yeah, here's my ceiling. I'm just going to use like a couple of statistics. I think Jordan Walker's ceiling is 25 home runs, 80 driven in, and like an OPS of 800. Like I think that's his ceiling. I think his floor.
That's his ceiling?
I think that's his ceiling. Yeah.
Like a 290 batting average.
Yeah.
800 OPS?
Yeah.
Okay.
You think that's too low for him?
If you're going to call it his ceiling, I think that's a little low. But that's okay.
825. I'm gonna be Roger Goodell right now. We used to do this with suspensions.
Oh yeah.
You're like, hey, yeah, he's suspended 2 games, and everybody was in an uproar. It's like 4? Is 4 better? I think he could hit it, but I think he can hit 25 home runs as a ceiling. I actually think his floor is only it's not that far off. I think it's about 18 to 19 home runs. I don't think there's a dramatic floor ceiling when it comes to Walker in certain categories.
Is he a home run hitter in the majors?
If he could get to 25 home runs, I think that'd be really good in his second year.
You said if, but do you think he is?
I don't think he's a home run hitter in from the standpoint of like Nolan Gorman is.
No, but just even like other players. Like, I don't know. I didn't see... Obviously, he hit home runs last year, but I didn't see him as a home run hitter.
Well, he won't fix his damn launch angle. It matters with home runs. Everybody gets pissed off about that, but it's true. It's called physics.
I just think if you hit the ball hard, it'll go out of the park.
Not if you wormhole it.
What?
You can hit it 101 miles on the ground. It's not going to matter. You get the launch angle.
He's got a new batting stance. I'm sure it'll help.
Yeah, right. If that dude can hit 20-plus home runs for you, that's pretty great.
Yeah. I think the ceiling for me, to be realistic, is 20-plus home runs for this upcoming season. As far as anything else goes, I was right there with you, and I was thinking like 850 OPS.
Do you think he could swipe 10 to 15 bags? Because I do.
If they put the steal sign on.
All right.
Yeah, I
don't like your guys' attitude right now.
They kind of
I'm trying to be optimistic.
Jordan Walker's not at a point in his career where he's just going and blank.
Why the hell not?
Well, because
let's start running.
I agree.
Let's use some of this speed. Let's get Victor Scott on this team. Let's get Mason Wynn going. Let's steal 10-plus bags with Jordan Walker. Let's go. Trying to win games here, guys.
Anthony, he will not need to steal bases when he's hitting 30 bombs.
30? Wow, that's your ceiling?
I think that's
Do you think he could hit 30 home runs this year?
What did Gorman hit last year?
Gorman hit 27 last year.
But he was injured a little bit, so so Gorman is a 30 home run hitter.
I'll give you Gorman 30 plus. I'm not giving you Walker 30 plus.
It's his ceiling. It's his opinion.
I'm not giving it to him.
You know you would.
I mean, jeez. I think he
give him 30 home runs.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Marsh, when we have our home run derby, yeah. Walker, no.
Fair enough.
I think he can hit 30 home runs. Him and Mason Wynn did an interview like a week or so ago where they were talking about how many home runs that they think they can hit combined, and I think 45 was the number. And I don't see Mason Wynn hitting 20.
Did they say that he's going to hit 40 home runs?
45 was the combo.
I can see them combining for 30. I can't get to 45 with Jordan Walker and Mason Wynn.
They said this about
was
themselves?
their opinion.
Well, and my opinion is they're as high as Doug is.
You're not a Major League Baseball player. Go sit in the corner.
Did you play Major League Baseball? No, I didn't. The guy that discovered the Beatles, he didn't play any music. I didn't discover the Beatles either. No, so not even anywhere close.
I don't really know why you went there.
Yeah. I guess I got rolling.
Yeah.
Wait, the guy that discovered the Beatles didn't even play music?
No. He wasn't a musician.
He was just like, these guys sound good.
He's like, these guys, whatever they're doing, when it hits my ear hole, I love it. That's what that guy said. All right, maybe we'll do this a little bit later on when you guys are more enthusiastic about it.
What?
Yeah, don't like your attitudes.
I just gave Jordan Walker 30 home runs.
You're the one that peed all over everything. You went first, and then everybody else's was insignificant to you.
I didn't feel like you guys were into this exercise at all. I don't feel like you took it serious. So we'll try again. Listen, guys, don't love the effort, but we'll try again later. I'm going to give you another opportunity a little bit later on, okay?
Are we going to stick with Jordan Walker?
No,
we're going
to use a different player.
Okay.
All right. Player that you guys don't seem to really like, but I do, and Lars Nootbaar. All right, we'll do a little ceiling floor with Lars Nootbaar a little bit later on. But why don't we do some hot take or hot garbage? Because I know that usually fires you guys up.
Sure.
So if you have a hot take, send it in, 314-399-9646. That's our Air Comfort Service text line. We'll do hot take or hot garbage next in the Fast Lane. Hot take. Time to play Hot Take or Hot Garbage here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with your Hot Take or Hot Garbage ideas via the Air Comfort Service tax line 314-399-9646. Marsh, go.
Yeah, we have a really good one right off the bat from the 636. Hot take or hot garbage. Anthony likes to ask people their opinions and then crap on it when it doesn't match his.
Hot garbage. I don't expect you guys to be in line with me when it comes to my opinions, but I do expect you guys to show some effort.
You know,
I didn't get it.
That's a hot take. All day, every day.
Stop.
Anthony tries to bully us here at the station. And if we don't fall in line with what he deems to be the right opinion, then he just goes through it the whole day. Then after that, just trying to get us back. It's really kind of unprofessional and childish, but either way, that's a hot take.
Do I appreciate some good revenge? Yeah. But not in this case. I just want to make you guys better.
Anthony, you've got it blurred so much you don't even know anymore if it's just your natural reaction or revenge, okay? You need help.
I like to refer to it as vengeance, not necessarily revenge.
It's much better.
Yeah.
Way more clear.
Thank you. All right, Marsh, what else you got?
From the 314, hot take or hot garbage. Jamie wearing the Canadian mankini during the summer. Will it happen? I think it will.
Yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't happen. I mean, there's no doubt that the wonderful people down at Lake of the Ozarks are just, wanting to see the mankini.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Canadian mankini is just a good way to let everybody know that
you're there.
I was born in a different country, but now I'm one of you.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a good call on that.
Yeah.
Hot take or hot garbage from the 314. The Blues will make 3+ trades at the deadline.
Hot garbage.
Well,
I don't think the Blues are going to do much at the deadline. I think they're going to stand pat for the most part.
I'm going to say that I can't answer that just yet.
Oh, boy.
Well, Anthony, if for some reason things don't go good against the Wild, the Flyers, the Islanders, and the Devils, they could be 10 to 12 points out of a wild card spot at that point.
That wouldn't be good.
That would change a lot, I believe, for Doug Armstrong. So how about to be determined for me? We'll call it hot wait. That was bad.
Hot wait. Well, what do you think?
W-A-I-T.
Yeah, not W-E-I-G-T. G-H-T. Duck weight.
You lent it to me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did. Never returned it.
Yeah, I did. It said VHS on your front seat.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Yeah. From 618. Hot take or hot garbage. Matt Carpenter and Brandon Crawford will start over 20 games between the two of them.
Oh, so combined?
Combined start 20 games? I could see that.
I'd say that's a hot take.
Yeah, I think that's a hot take, too.
Yeah, I mean, 20 games is not a lot.
No. Especially combined.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to separate them and say, well, they both individually start 20 games,
I don't think that would be great.
No. But combined, yeah.
Combined, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to get them off their feet, Anthony.
You got to get the main guys off their feet, especially in April and May and June and July.
Do you find it weird, though, that Mo signed Crawford and Crawford's like, willing to play anywhere where the Cardinals need me, and then Mo's like, nope, he's just going to play shortstop. But let's be clear, that's Mason Wynn's job,
Right.
Really? Then Mo is just not blessed with the ability to, throw some polish on it. He can say, primarily it's, he's a backup shortstop, but hey, he's a good enough player. He's proven over the years that if we need him somewhere else, he said he's more than willing, and we'll see.
Yeah.
There we go. But now he's like, no, he's only going to be a backup shortstop.
He's painting himself into a corner.
But, but don't forget, that's Mason Wynn's job, you know?
Yeah. Then when Ollie plays him at second base, everybody's asking Ollie, hey, I thought you only signed that guy to play shortstop.
100%. It's just that you can't get out of his own way, this guy.
We need someone to do something about it.
Anthony needs to hold him accountable.
I've tried. Almost got arrested.
Yeah, but you didn't.
That's the problem.
Stalter from the Fast Lane.
Mm-hmm.
From the 314, hot take or hot garbage. If this is Goldie's last year as a Cardinal, Or, I'm sorry, is this Goldie's last year as a Cardinal? If not, what does Mo re-sign him for? I'm not sure if that's hot take or hot garbage or just a question, but let's just answer it.
So it's kind of weird to me that there hasn't been more talk about this. And I know a lot of these things happen at spring training, and sometimes right after spring training, they announce the big, the 1-year extension or whatever. But it has been so quiet about it that, I'm wondering if Goldie has told the Cardinals it's a wait and see. Like, not the Cardinals saying, hey, let's wait and see if the 37-year-old can still play.
Yeah.
No, I think it might be Goldie sitting here going, you know what? I don't know.
So BK was talking about this on BK and Ferrario, and he said that if this season goes haywire again this year, like you got another bad season, he could envision the Cardinals trading Paul Goldschmidt, and then in the offseason also trading Nolan Arenado.
Oh wow!
I don't think there's any way in hell. That is way too non-Cardinals to happen. Goldie's gonna get at least a 1-year extension or a 1-year deal, if not a 2-year deal. And they're going to keep Arenado as long as he doesn't tell them, get me out of here.
Yeah.
The Cardinals are risk averse, which also means that they're going to play. They're always going to play.
But you're attacking it from the Cardinals side of things.
Yes, I am.
What if it's Goldie that's pumping the brakes right now?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he wants to be a Cardinal, and anybody that wants to be a Cardinal.
How many World Series rings does he have?
0.0.
Yeah. And he's going to be 37 this year?
Yeah.
I think that Paul Goldschmidt, if the Titanic is headed where we know it's going, then Goldie might say, hey, look, the Dodgers are looking pretty good, or team whatever. He might do. I would. You're at the end of your career. You've had an illustrious career. The only thing you don't really have is a championship, or even played for a team that was close to a championship.
No. In fact, the last time the Diamondbacks made the World Series was last year
without
Paul Goldschmidt. Yeah.
So I don't know. I look at it that way.
I don't think so.
The Titanic was a good movie.
It was. Now I turned it off right after the picture scene because I thought, I see where this is going. It's a nice love story. I get it.
Why'd you turn it off there? Did you turn it off before?
After.
Or
No,
after.
Yeah, after.
Yeah, you wanted that to be the last thing you saw.
Yeah.
Well, I understood. Again,
He was probably all tuckered out.
No, for sure.
Guys, I'm just saying, I understood where the story was going. The ship would arrive safely in America. The two would go on to have a wonderful life together.
For sure.
Die well into their old age. That's...
Well,
I didn't need to see the rest of the movie to understand where it was
This
going.
isn't the first time you've done something like that, too.
No, Super Bowl in 2016.
Yeah.
Same deal. I don't need to see the end of this. I know the Falcons are going to win big.
Good call.
Interesting. From the 618, hot take or hot garbage, Steven Matz starts at least 25 games with a sub-4 ERA.
Hot garbage. Why do you say that? Well, the previous 2 years.
Who? Steven Matz?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what? He threw a batting practice here the other day.
Did he? How'd he do?
I don't know.
Did he throw his back out too? That's not nice.
It's not
That's
nice.
not
No.
nice. It was snarky. It was mean.
I laughed, and that's equally not as nice.
Yeah, we're
ashamed.
Oh, your
We're
fingers
ashamed.
hurt?
Now your back's going to hurt because you just pulled
Wonder if he can
landscaping
play
duty.
center field.
I'm sure he does a great
not
job
a bad
shagging
thought.
fly balls.
Mm-hmm.
I think anytime that you can turn an infielder into an outfielder, that's the new Cardinal
Now, is a
way.
pitcher technically an infielder?
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He's
Okay.
on the infield.
He is, ish. He's got his own little island, so I don't know.
Hey, where's that island located?
Right in the middle of the infield.
There you go. So I think you have Steven Matz be your center fielder next year.
Last one here. Hot take or hot garbage. If Nolan Arenado asks for a trade, it will be the most embarrassing thing out of the Cardinals organization in the 21st century.
I'd be embarrassed if I were him.
Okay.
Yeah, do tell.
Well, you got out of Colorado. This team's not trying, all this stuff. Yeah, they couldn't win with you. Okay. Then you go to St. Louis. Then you ask for it again. I'd be embarrassed if I were him. I know my Nolan Arenado is a competitor. He wants to win. He wants to help this team win, not just bow out like Kevin Durant.
It makes you
Durant sideswiped out of nowhere.
Yeah. When did Durant win? When he actually went to a team that he didn't have to be the dude.
It's true.
Every other time, he has come up short, has he not?
He has.
Yeah. Not my Nolan Arenado. That dude wants to win and help the team win, not just bounce around until he finds the right spot. I'll just be over here while the team's winning. I'll contribute a little bit. No, come on. Be a dude. So I'd be embarrassed if I were him, if I were to ask that.
What a spin.
I agree with you, Anthony.
Thank you, Jamie. Well, you're a competitor, too.
Yep.
You know what it's all about. We've got the Gauntlet next in Fastlane on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, the NBA has been paying off for me here recently. I've been going over to FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, picking some winners, prop bets. It's been a lot of fun.
Look at you.
Yeah, it's great using FanDuel, and they always have great deals for existing customers, but in this particular case, it's new customers. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. So all that means, Anthony, is you have to bet $5, win your bet, and you get $150 from FanDuel.
Seems like a great deal.
It's fantastic.
Maybe you want to take the Warriors tonight. They're 8-2 over their last 10, 8-2 against the number, and only laying 4.5 against the Knicks, who are 3-7 straight up and 1-9 against the number. The Knicks will probably win outright. But, hey, that's your choice. You can do quick bets, live, same-game parlays, exclusive prop plays. It's all available at FanDuel. Just visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast and shoot your shot with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Four warriors, 4 categories, 1 challenger. Can you master the Gauntlet?
The Gauntlet is powered by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit mastor.com.
is the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN 404. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Jamie Rivers and Andrew Marsh. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Brett into the Gauntlet. What's up, Brett?
Hey, guys. How are you?
We're doing great, man. Hope you're enjoying your day. Is this your first time in the Gauntlet?
It's actually not, and I was going to bring it up. I don't know if Jamie will remember this or not. Right around when Jeff Burton passed away, I called in, and in honor of Jeff, I chose Jamie, and he destroyed me.
Oh, wow. Well, Jamie's just walking into the studio now, so we'll...
What happened? What did I do?
So Brett is on the line. Brett, I asked him if he's played in the Gauntlet before, and he responded that right around the time that Jeff Burton passed, he called in. Brett called in, took you on.
Yeah.
And apparently took him behind the woodshed.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So I was kind of wondering if I could throw you guys a loop. My dad recently succumbed to cancer, and in honor of him, I was wondering if instead of me choosing you guys, you would choose who goes up against me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, sorry to hear that about your dad, too.
Yeah, that's awful, man. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was last July, prostate cancer, but, cancer just stinks. So what are you going to do?
It certainly does. But, yeah, sorry for your loss, Brett. But, yeah, we can do that.
Sorry, pancreatic cancer. What am I thinking?
Pancreatic cancer. I lost my father-in-law to pancreatic cancer Easter Sunday in 2020. So, terrible, horrible way to go. And, sorry for your loss, Brett.
Well, he was a trooper for a year, when they diagnosed it. And he was a great guy, and he loved sports, and he loved everything about St. Louis. So
sure.
I want to kind of honor him on this one.
All right. Well,
Anthony, I think there's really no choice.
Brett, well, here's my thought. Brett's a really nice guy. I like Brett a lot.
I like Brett a lot, too.
So you're going up against Marsh. Yeah, you're going up against Marsh. Yep.
Against Marsh?
Yeah, you got Marsh today. Yeah, we like you, Brett. You're a super nice guy.
You fall right into Marsh's category.
You fall right into Marsh's wheelhouse here. So
I don't know. He dominated random the other day with the Harry Potter question. I think wasn't that him?
I'm actually not that great at random. It was hockey though. I did pretty well. So
hockey, yeah. Marsh had a perfect score the other day in hockey. So, all right, Brett, go ahead and tell Marsh to spin the wheel, then we'll kick him out.
All right, spin the wheel, Marsh.
There you go. Wheel is spinning. Brett, what are you hoping for?
Baseball or random?
Baseball or random, okay. We'll see what happens here. Marsh is going to get into the cone of silence. Jamie has the launch codes for us. Jamie, you can see the wheel.
Oh, yeah,
I cannot.
I'm trying to find a piece of paper. It is baseball.
Baseball. Been very, very good to Brett. He wanted baseball.
He did.
He's going to get baseball.
I will say that Marshy's pretty good at baseball.
Marsh is pretty good at most things, man.
Yeah.
He's pretty good. He's out of all of us, I think he's the most well-rounded.
Probably.
All right, launch codes in my hand here. 4 baseball questions, Brett. Each of them are worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, those questions become worth 1 point. Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right, here we go. The Cardinals' presumptive opening day starter, Sonny Gray, was selected to his 3rd career All-Star game last season. Name the other Minnesota Twin who appeared alongside Gray in that Midsummer Classic. So who, alongside Gray, Minnesota Twin, was an All-Star last year?
And this would nominate the options.
Okay. Carlos Correa, Pablo Lopez, or Byron Buxton?
I'm going to go Pablo Lopez.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Brett, question 2. Who is the Cubs' all-time leader in managerial wins?
I want to say Dusty Baker, but I don't. I don't think. Madden. I'm going to go Dusty Baker.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Brett, question 3. 4-time Gold Glover. 4-time Gold Glove winner Eric Hosmer has announced his retirement. Hosmer helped lead the Royals to the World Series title in 2015 when they defeated which National League team?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I have it on the top of my tongue, and I can't. I'm going to need the options.
Sure. The New York Mets, the Philadelphia Phillies, or the San Francisco Giants?
I believe it was the Phillies. Oh, I don't know. That's final answer, the Phillies.
Okay.
All right, Brett, 4th and final question. How many players swiped 20-plus bases for the 2022 Cardinals? So how many players stole 20-plus bases for your 2022 Cardinals?
I believe it was 2. Final answer.
All right. We'll welcome in Marsh here from the Cone of Silence. Brett, how you feeling?
Not great.
Okay. Not great.
It's a baseball thing.
You never know.
Marshy's strutting back in here.
Yes, he is. Marsh wearing his Kirk Cousins skull chain necklace T-shirt here.
Yeah, my Kirko chain shirt. I actually made this.
You did?
Yeah.
It looks good, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins likely going back to the Vikings.
I hope.
I've actually been in the Vikings clubhouse at the stadium up there in Minneapolis.
The bank. There you go. Nice. The bank. Listen to you. All right, Marsh, are you ready?
I'm ready to go.
Jamie, tell him.
Oh, you better pack your lunch.
Category is baseball today, Marsh.
All right.
Here we go. The Cardinals opening day starter, Sonny Gray, was selected to his 3rd All-Star game last season. Name the other Minnesota Twin who appeared alongside Gray in that Midsummer Classic.
Ooh, last year you say?
I do say.
Was it Pablo Lopez? Let's go through that lineup here. It wasn't Byron Buxton. I think he was injured. I'll go with, let's just use the options.
Carlos Correa, Pablo Lopez, or Byron Buxton.
Ah, damn it. So I remember Byron Buxton. He ended up hitting a home run, but I can't remember if that was last year or the year before. I think he was injured. All my Minnesota friends, they're always like upset at Byron Buxton because he can never stay healthy. Damn. Let's go. Let's go Pablo Lopez. Final answer.
All right.
All right, Marshy, question 2. Who is the Cubs' all-time leader in managerial wins?
Ooh. Is it Lou Piniella? Let's use the options.
All right. Is it Leo DeRoche, Joe Madden, or Cap Anson?
DeRoche.
It's DeRoche in Canada, Anthony. That's just in Canada.
That was the perfect response.
Have a glass of shut the hell up over there.
Okay, fair enough.
I have no idea. I'll go with Joe Madden.
Just trying to help.
Joe Madden, final answer.
Just wait till I help you. Go ahead.
You do help me.
No, just go ahead.
You do help me a lot.
Go ahead.
All right. Question number 3, Marsh. 4-time Gold
Now, there it is.
4-time Gold Glove winner Eric Hosmer has announced his retirement. Hosmer helped lead the Royals to the World Series title in 2015 when they defeated which National League team?
2015?
Yes, sir.
The New York Mets. Final answer.
Okay. 4th and final question here, Andrew. How many players swiped 20-plus bases for the 2022 Cardinals?
Options.
Was it none, 1, or 3?
You said 20 plus?
Yeah.
That's a lot of bases. I'm going to go 0. Final answer.
Okay. Let's go over these, gentlemen. Brett, one of the nicest guys in the world, versus Andrew Marsh. The Cardinals' opening day starter, Sonny Gray, was selected to his 3rd All-Star game last season. Named the other Minnesota Twin who appeared alongside Gray in that Midsummer Classic. Brett, you went with Pablo Lopez. Marsh, you went with Pablo Lopez after talking about Byron Buxton for a good 2.5 minutes. Correct answer is...
Pablo Lopez.
It was Pablo Lopez. Both of you needed the options on that one, so we have a 1-1 tie. Who is the Cubs' all-time leader in managerial wins? Brett, without the options, you went Dusty Baker. Although we know from Marsh choosing the options that Baker, unfortunately, was not an option. Marsh, you went Joe Madden. Correct answer is?
Fellas, it's Cap Anson.
Cap Anson.
1,282.
Who knew?
Well, Cappy.
How many World Series wins today?
Probably 0.0.
Oh.
Yeah.
More than likely.
So 1-1 tie again between Brett and Marsh. How many players swiped 20-plus bases for the 2022 Cardinals? Brett, without the options, you said 2. Marsh, you took the options. You said none. Correct answer is?
Tommy Edman. 1.
Tommy Edman with 1. Speaking of 1, Marsh has 1. Brett has 1. Final question. 4-time Gold Glove winner Eric Hosmer has announced his retirement. Hosmer helped lead the Royals to the World Series in 2015 when they defeated which National League team? Brett, you went with the Philadelphia Phillies. Marsh, you went with the New York Baseball Mets. If it's the Phillies, Brett wins. If it's the Mets, Marsh wins. If it's San Francisco Giants, who was the other option, we're heading to a walk-off. Jamie, who did those Royals beat?
Oh, Brett. It was the Mets.
Brett.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose.
Not today.
Brad, I'm sorry. Got you 3-1 today. Got you on that question.
Yeah, I figured. I was either going between the Phillies and the Mets, but, I had fun.
Well, we appreciate you playing, man. Thanks for listening. Super nice guy. But we do have to send you home here.
Yeah, it's all good, guys. Keep up the good work, and thanks for everything you guys do on the radio.
Well, thanks, Brett. Thank you. We appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely.
See you guys.
Yeah.
See you later, buddy.
Jamie, Jamie, I think I could speak for you and the listeners here and just ask Marsh, what the hell's wrong with you?
This is your fault.
I mean,
you guys put him in this situation.
Nice guy. Comes on talking about his dad.
I know.
Heartfelt moment, and you just go ahead and beat him.
I was listening to the Avengers theme song for you, Anthony. I know you've been watching the movies lately.
By the way, not the biggest Captain America fan. The first one I was like, that's
Winter Soldier.
Holy smokes.
It's a great movie.
That's a good movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I think
you like a little espionage?
Well, the Winter Soldier, man, that guy was just a total badass.
Seen his arm?
It's awesome.
It's so cool.
Fixing to get one of them at some point.
I hope not.
Just for the hell of it.
Means you lost your arm.
Marsh, you got to do what you got to do.
Guys, apparently Cap Anson won 2 World Series.
Yeah. That makes sense. I mean,
1907 and 1908.
That is a 1900 name.
Well, after I said 0.0, I'm like, well, they probably did win. I mean, I know they won way back in the day. Well, there you go. All right. Well, thank you to the text line for providing that answer for us. All right. More Cardinals mic drops. Where's your hope-o-meter? That's next on 101 ESPN. Jamie, if you've been following the inflation rates, you know that they're as up and down as Miles Mikolas' season last year. 1 month is great, 1 month not so great, right? But one guy that's going to stay on top of things for you even after you refinance is our guy Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. If you finance and use or refi using the Bagel loan, which is borrowing $200,000 or more, no lender fees, no closing costs, any of that, he gets rid of all that for you. Don't know anybody else that does that, by the way. And then all of a sudden the inflation rate, the rates go down. No problem. Refi again with Stewie. That's what he's there for. He's there to save you money over the course of your loan.
Yeah, and if you don't understand what we're talking about, it's fine. You don't have to worry about what we have to say. It's what Stewie says.
Damn right.
And the best way to get all the answers to your questions, and even ask about the interest rates and the Federal Reserve or whatever you need to know, you call our guy Stewie. And it's pretty easy because he hands out his personal cell phone number. That number is 314-324-4440.
Again, 314-324-4440.
Yeah, take the guessing out of all this stuff. Trust the expert, and the expert is Stewie, who's our guy, needs to be your guy. But if you can't remember that number for whatever reason, Anthony, what can they do?
Remember when I was talking about the Bagel loan?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just Google the Bagel loan. Get all the information there. And tell them Jamie and Anthony told you to call. You heard on 101 ESPN. He loves helping out 101 ESPN listeners as well. That's Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation.
NMLS number 226715.
The text messages that come in on the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Just know that we appreciate you, listeners.
Sure do.
You seem to get us.
They're funny.
You seem to get us, and we appreciate that about you. So keep the text coming in. Keep the mic drops coming in too. We asked you, where's your hope-o-meter for the Cardinals winning a division, winning a playoff series this season? We've gotten a wide variety of answers. We've gotten one 100%. We basically got a 0.
We did.
We got one that was like 30%. We got one that was kind of 50%. Got one guy broke down the division, a little higher on that. Then winning a playoff series, a little lower on that. Let's hear from our gal Lisa.
Hey, guys. So I have about a 25% that they'll win the division.
Wow.
Because until they prove they can drive a run-in, until they prove they can get a big out from the pitching side of it, make the big play, 25% in the playoffs. If it's us and the Cubs, there's no comparison between Craig Counsell and Ollie Marmol. There's zero comparison. One has a resume, and one sat on the sidelines. One played in the major leagues and got a big hit. I know I was there in 2001 when he did it. He knows high pressure. Just stop with that madness. So anyway, I have 25% in the year, and I have 0 to 5% in a playoff round with the same leadership group. All right. Thanks, guys.
You got a big hit, Anthony.
Yeah. And of course, she's referring to the one off Mariano Rivera to win the World Series. Do you guys think that's like 50? I could see somebody saying 50% to win the division. You know, well, Cubs better roster, maybe even like the Reds with the young talent. But 25% to win the division? Do you guys honestly think that it's going to be as bad of a season as it was last year?
So for me, all of it revolves around this rotation. And I don't feel like I can properly give you my true opinion until we see more. Because if it's right now today, I'm like, oof, we're in trouble.
Because of Kyle Gibson giving up the 2 home runs.
Two home runs. And Miles Mikolas had a fine-ish day. Like, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're like, that's not going to cut it.
He was okay.
He was fine.
He gave up 2 hits.
Yeah,
that was it.
He was fine. I didn't say he had a bad day. I said he was fine. Sonny Gray had a fine day. You know, like, that's where we're at. So until this rotation can prove that it can help you win games, like, you don't have a chance. I don't care how good of a season Arenado has or Goldie. If your pitchers can't get outs, you're screwed. And so that's why I'm just like, I'm pumping the brakes on giving my total like percentage thing because there's so much spring training left to watch. Steven Matz hasn't taken the bump yet. Like, there's lots to evaluate still.
Yeah.
So it's tough because I think it's going to truly depend on the pitching.
Jamie, you were driving in from the airport, so maybe you heard this, maybe you didn't, but I did a segment earlier today on Mo and the starting pitching, and I almost feel like he's about to make the same mistake he did a year ago, which is believing that the offense and the bullpen can carry the rotation, and the rotation only has to be fine. And if that's his thought process, and I have no idea if it is, but I think it was last year, if it just holds its water, we're good, right? If it just treads water, it's fine. Because the offense can be good and the bullpen's going to be good. Then this is going to blow up in his face again. You can't have a fine starting rotation and do damage. I realize that the Diamondbacks...
This is what they thought they were going to do last year.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Jamie, I know a lot of people throw out well, look at the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks had a pretty good rotation when it's all said and done. We could talk about Corbin Carroll. We could talk about Ketel Marte. We could talk about some of the players offensively that everybody remembers having the big hits or the home runs off of Clayton Kershaw or Lance Lynn. But it was that starting rotation that wound up pitching them into the World Series. You need it doesn't have to be a young rotation, but you have to have a rotation that shoves at the right time. And that's what Arizona had. They got hot. They got hot because of their pitching. I don't think that this is a rotation that the Cardinals have that is going to surprise when it comes to the postseason, if they make it. Do you? Like, I don't think I'm going to be overly surprised by the rotation. I think at best it's going to be like, it's not bad. It's not bad.
I just wonder, and this is really looking ahead. I mean, we're talking about playoffs, so I guess it's not that far ahead. But if your team is leading the division, if you are a team that, shows signs of promise, you wonder if Mo at the deadline will go get a pitcher, like a real pitcher.
You know he won't.
I know, but...
And I'm not even being overly pessimistic. When has he done anything at the deadline that has been eye-popping? Even if you go back to 2011, when he revamped the bullpen, I mean, what he did at the deadline helped the Cardinals win a World Series. But when was the last time, or really that was the last time, since then, when did he, like, really surprise people at the trade deadline? Because I remember a lot of John Lesters and J-Happ and Edward Mujica.
Yeah, but I feel like if they're leading the division and the team is offensively playing well, I feel like this year specifically, like, he might push the chips into the middle of the table. Not like, and I'm not talking about going to get an ace or anything, but just a good starter, a number 2 starter on an expiring contract. I feel like because last year was so bad and because so many people are still so critical of Mo and the Cardinals overall, that if they're first place heading into the trade deadline and it looks like they could match up pretty well in the postseason, if they get a start, I feel like he might.
I don't think a leopard changes his spots. I think Mo's a NASCAR driver that's like, better play this safe, I'll pit now, instead of, let's test out these tires, boys. That's what I think. That's what I think of my Mo.
Let's test this rubber.
Let's test this rubber right now.
Yeah, he's definitely not that guy.
No, not at all. Let's hear from Matthew.
Okay, boys, this is your daddy. Your daddy talking to you, so you know this is the truth. Daddy only speaks the truth. 50% probability Cardinals win their division. Doesn't matter. Bounced in the first round, swept. Everyone's fired. Everyone quits.
What?
Everyone quits.
Everybody quit. I think they'd rather have him. I think they'd rather have him quit than be fired, right?
You can't fire me. I quit.
Yeah, not good. Take the severance. Anyways, I wasn't expecting Matthew to go that route. Like the 50%, that makes sense. But then he kind of added some vigor there at the end there with the playoffs and not making the playoffs.
That's our daddy there.
I guess so. All right. Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's get back into your St. Louis Blues. Are the Blues still looking for the right partner for Colton Parayko? We've been talking about this for 5-6 years now. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Cheap, fun. St. Louis, let's get dirty. Get over to Dirt Cheap. They are the best in the business. They're your number one stop when it comes to all things for your parties, your get-togethers, or just socially wanting to sit around at home and enjoy your favorite cocktail or your beverage of choice. They've got a great selection of beer, wine, and when it comes to your spirits, whether it's the vodka, the rum, they've got all the brands that you want, and specifically with the bourbon. And I've said this a number of times, don't let the name Dirt Cheap fool you. Dirt Cheap is just the prices, because their product is high-end. They've got all the good stuff. The Elijah Craigs, the Angel's Envy, the Blantons, the Bullet. They've got all the best ones for you, but they're getting it to you at a better price, and that's really what matters. And the Dirt Cheap app is awesome. Download that as soon as you possibly can. There are even more savings that you can find on the app. There's also giveaways, and there's clubs that you can be a part of, and there's also some raffles with some pretty incredible products that are going to be out there that are only available if you register on the app. So get over there and do that and enjoy everything Dirt Cheap has to offer. Please stop by any location. Tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. And please remember to have fun, but be careful out there.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lost last night to the Edmonton Oilers, 3-2, the final in overtime. They'll be back in action on Saturday, taking on the Minnesota Wild. Pregame for that one starts at 4. Puck drop is at 5, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We talked earlier today with Chris Kerber. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. The Cardinals lost today in spring training, 3-1 to the Washington Nationals. Kyle Gibson got the start. He went 2 innings, gave up 3 hits, 3 earned runs, struck out 2, and 2 of those runs came via the home run. So not a great start for Kyle Gibson. We'll talk more Cardinals baseball throughout the remainder of the show, but we're going to get into some Blues hockey coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. So Marsh went Twitter diving at some point. He found this tweet from Jay Fresh at Jay Fresh Hockey.
Jay Fresh. Oh, God.
He writes on stats, the eye test and the hockey in general.
Sure he does.
Something. So he says, Parayko.
What did I tell you in the break?
Well, let's see what happens here.
Oh, let's see.
So Jay Fresh tweets out, Parayko's a real interesting player. He's huge. He skates beautifully. He defends well. He's a big shot. He carries the puck in transition more than almost anyone. But not a driver of offense, and the Blues don't have the right partner for him. So, Jamie, feel like we've been talking about this for 5 years now. Does Colton Parayko not have the right partner? And if they don't, who is that player?
All right.
And also, is it you?
Is it me?
Yeah.
I don't think I can help him out very much anymore.
Jamie would be a great partner.
My prime
in life.
In my prime, it would have been a great setup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Old big boy would have been forced to pull up his pants a little bit, though. I would have needed some help out there.
All right, fair enough.
So the question is kind of vague, really. He needs to find the right partner, the best partner. Okay, so, hey, Tampa, would you trade us Victor Hedman?
Oh, that'd be nice.
Because, boy, that'd be nice, right?
But they're willing to trade him?
No.
Okay.
So
thought I'd ask.
You're in a situation where you don't have a homegrown partner for Colton Parayko, so you went and you got Nick Leddy. Nick Leddy is one of the best defensemen right now for the Blues. Like, it's Parayko, Leddy, and then work your way down from there. Nick Leddy's playing really good hockey, man. And in his small absence the other night in the first game against Winnipeg, when he got the puck in the face and he had to leave the game for a little bit, like, you could tell. You're sitting there going, if Leddy's gone for the rest of this game, we're screwed.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he comes back, calms some things down, makes a couple of easy, nice plays, So is Nick Leddy the best partner for Colton Parayko? Like, throughout the NHL? No, probably not. Is he the best partner you have right now on your roster for him? Yes. And I feel like Nick Leddy is going to get, or Doug Armstrong's going to get phone calls about Nick Leddy at the deadline. I can promise you that. He's got 2 more years at $4 million a year, and he's proving that he can play top 2 minutes at his age still. Not that he's old, but he's on the backside of his career, right? So when you get guys like that, you look at, there's value there. So if I'm a team that needs a defenseman, let's say I'm the Edmonton Oilers, and this is a great one because I had this discussion last night with somebody in Edmonton who flat out, as a scout for another team, flat out asked me about Nick Leddy. And I said, Nick Leddy would be really good for the Edmonton Oilers. The way he skates, the way he moves the puck, and how reliable he's been, like he would probably be their best defenseman. Ekholm would be right there with him. Evan Bouchard is great on the power play. Darnell Nurse is okay. But the way Nick Leddy skates and the way he moves the puck out of the zone, like Connor McDavid, Draisaitl, all these guys would be pushing offense all day long. So I guess to get back to the original question, I understand the question because we're always searching for Jay Bouwmeester.
Yeah.
Where's Jay Bouwmeester? Well, Jay Bouwmeester is going to probably be a Hall of Famer at some point. Those guys don't just fall off trees. Yeah, and it took Jay Bouwmeester a long time to get to where he was. And then even when he got here, Blues fans didn't like him. They thought his contract was too expensive. He doesn't do enough for that kind of money. And then, like, 2 years later, like, man, we sure would love to have Jay Bouwmeester back.
Usually
here.
how it works.
Either way. So I think that, is there a better partner out there for him? Probably.
Not available, though.
Not available.
Yeah.
Because you have to imagine would be a top 2 defenseman. What team is just parting with a top 2 defenseman?
Not a contender.
And for people who might be banging the drum saying that, oh, Jacob Chychrun, Ottawa's looking at Jacob Chychrun. I don't know if Jacob Chychrun is better than Nick Leddy. I've watched a lot of Senators games, and he is erratic defensively. He is a player that was really good on a bad team in Arizona. He had the 22-goal season the 1 year, a 20-plus goal season. Everybody thought this guy's going to be Norris Trophy guy. Well, what happened? Nothing. Even after that in Arizona, he was up and down, up and down. And he's like, we're going to trade him to Ottawa, get him to a good team. The team hasn't played all that great, but Jacob Chychrun's been a part of it. Mm-hmm. And the other night, I watched one period specifically and just watched all of his shifts. And defensively, he was kind of lost out there at times. So if you think like that's the answer, I don't know. Nick Leddy's pretty damn reliable out there.
Yeah.
So, again, to be clear, I'm not saying Nick Leddy is an elite NHL defenseman. I'm saying he's a really good partner for Colton Parayko right now, and that a lot of teams will probably pick up the phone and call Doug Armstrong on deadline day and ask about Nick Leddy.
That's Jamie Rivers and Anthony Stalter. Air Comfort Service tax line is 314-399-9646. So if you have a question for us, send it there, because we got our Sports Six-Pack next in the Fast Lane.
If you're looking to sell your home right now in this crazy market, with springtime coming around, and maybe you're not sure of when to list your home, or much less how much to ask for, because everything has been fluctuating all over the place, don't be guessing at these things. Call Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty. Gloria Liu is the best in the business. She has, compiled a huge database with thousands of buyers that are ready, willing, and able to purchase your home, and that drives a lot more traffic to your listing and hopefully multiple offers and more money for you at the end of it all. And one of the ways that Gloria helps all of this happen is she's got options for buyers. The best option for me when I look at it is guaranteed sales. That's where Gloria Liu sits down with the seller, and they talk about a list price. They agree upon a list price, and then Gloria Liu sells your home for that price, or she buys it herself, and she guarantees that in handwriting. So please, if you're thinking about selling your house, give Gloria Liu a call. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number is 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree upon the price and possession date.
time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
Jamie Rivers and Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. There's Andrew Marsh with your questions via the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. Time for the Sports Six-Pack. Question one, please.
Question number one.
All right. Dan was doing that yesterday. Question one, please.
Plea?
Yeah.
All right.
Dan's funny.
Yeah, he is.
So, Jamie, we got a question from Gator Bait from the Steak Pit. He wanted to welcome you back from your homeland, which is Canada. Did you happen to sip on any special Canadian whiskey when you were up there?
No. In fact, I was kind of disappointed. And I went out a couple times and had a few drinks. And, they had the regular stuff available. But I thought, based on some of the allocations, like, a couple of the Canadian cities I've gone into had stuff that we don't get here in St. Louis. So it's kind of like, ooh, sweet find.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get a chance to do anything in Winnipeg. We went out in Edmonton, went to a big liquor store there, they call it, Anthony. And
they call it the big liquor store?
No, they just call it the liquor store. It's pretty original.
Gotcha.
And I walked in and I thought, okay, let's see what we got here. Mm-hmm. And they had nothing but like the generic stuff. Like nothing even like that wowed me.
Yeah.
So I was disappointed. And then I went to an establishment last night, bar, after the game, and asked for an old fashioned.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, oh, we have that, but it's a premix.
What?
Yeah,
what's a premix?
They make bottles now that are an old fashioned mixed into a bottle. You just pour like the margaritas.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yep.
So I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it.
No go.
I took one sip and I was like, hey, by the way, can you put another shot of bourbon in that? Because it doesn't taste like there's any bourbon in that thing. And the lady, the girl, she was sweet. She did. It was fine. It was not a big deal, But again, my disappointment was definitely there.
So you give it a D-.
Yeah. And there was no finding any kind of good bourbons. And I was disappointed in my homeland.
We're sorry, Jamie.
Yeah, it's not your fault, but I appreciate it.
I feel like it's my fault.
Probably is.
Mm-hmm.
Question number two.
We did touch on this when you guys were talking with Kerbs, but from the 618, did you find it odd that Perunovic was on the bench last night when not on the bench, but he was up and, he wasn't playing last night when he needs to play in almost all the remaining games to remain a restricted free agent? Do you think they're ready to let him leave?
Well, that I don't know. The last part, I have no idea. I'm not in those meetings. I have not heard anything to that quote, like, ready to move on. I haven't heard anything like that. I thought it was an odd choice just because of this whole games played thing that he's got to reach and attain. But I also didn't disagree with the decision. And, he does have some flexibility in the number of games that, Drew Bannister has some flexibility in the number of games that he's going to have to dress Scott Perunovic in. And I think it was okay for him to send a message. I think it was okay for him to not just make it seem like this is going to be an automatic because otherwise you're an unrestricted free agent.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that Drew Bannister didn't just wake up and say, I've had it. I'm benching this kid. I'm almost positive that they sat down as a coaching staff, evaluated his play, evaluated the situation. They probably had a conversation with Doug Armstrong or Al McInnes or somebody that's up in the front office there. And they probably said, you know what? This is the best thing for the player, and it's the best thing for the team right now, is to put Tyler Tucker in. Scott Perunovic has to be accountable for his play, and we need more from him. Drew Bannister has done nothing but that. If you don't play the right way, you don't play. And if he can do it to Pavel Buchnevich, and he can do it to Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou and Kasperi Kapanen, why can't he do it to Scott Perunovic? Just because he has a games played thing?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's why you got a little bit of a buffer there. If he sits him for 5-6 games in a row, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to happen. And hopefully Scott Perunovic takes it like the other guys did and bounces back with a stronger effort.
Yeah. I think they're going to trade him.
Okay.
Question number 3.
I do. I think they're going to trade him. I just get that sense. I got my hockey gut. Hockey gut says they're going to trade Scott Perunovich.
Got to trust your hockey gut, right?
Thank you. Hasn't led me astray thus far.
Go Sharks.
From the 636, is beer league roller hockey the most manly adult rec league activity someone can do?
Beer league roller hockey?
Oh, yeah. On the tile.
I'm not even going to pretend because I've never played beer league roller hockey. Have I ever told you about the one time I've played roller hockey?
No.
Okay.
I can't wait to hear this.
This is a funny story. So I was just been drafted to the NHL, 1993, and my brother played in the IHL, which was the minors, and they had a team in Atlanta called the Atlanta Knights. And my brother and a couple of his teammates and a local guy built a roller rink because hockey was starting to grow in Atlanta. And they called it Hockey Southern style. It was actually kind of funny. But the rink was outside, and every day at like 4 o'clock, they'd have a drop-in. So teams, like a bunch of dudes would show up, and you take the jerseys and kind of throw them back and forth, make sure it's even, and then there's your teams. And so I knew this, and I talked to John Kirk, who was the Bauer rep at the time. I was a Bauer guy. And I was like, hey, man, I need some rollerblades. And he's like, oh, yeah, no problem. So he sent me some rollerblades, and they were like the Rolls Royce of rollerblades. Like the metal wheel holders and like stuff that they just come out with some of the stuff. So I'm feeling like, hey, I'm an NHL draft pick. Right? So I wheeled out onto the roller rink. I got my shades on because there's no roof. It's outdoors. I'm flying around, and the biscuit is a little bit lighter, so I'm snapping this biscuit around at like 100 miles an hour, just like, and it's fine. But then the game starts. But then your brain kicks in, okay?
Yeah.
My brain kicks into play ice hockey. So I'm skating with the puck, like up the, what would you call it? The surface? The rink?
The tile.
The tile. I'm skating up the tile towards the other end, and I kind of bobble the puck, and guy kind of loses it, a little bit. The guy's right there. Well, I go to stop.
Oh, boy.
You can't stop the same way. Like some people can. Some people are like rollerblade.
Oh, yeah,
like they're really, really good, and I applaud them.
Yeah.
But I was not.
Right.
So I went to stop, turned sideways, and rolled over like full, like it looked like car crash. Like when a stock
Slow
car
motion,
is like.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Right.
My sunglasses went flying. They broke. I'm laying on the tile. Sticks over here. And they're looking like, who's this loser?
This guy plays in the NHL.
No, they didn't know anything. They didn't know
that.
They didn't know anything about that. And they're like, this guy sucks, And so I was so mad.
I don't suck.
I was so mad.
I'm pretty good.
I told the guy on the bench next to me, I go, next shift, I go, just get me the puck. Just get me the puck. And he's like, okay, fine. So we get it. He slides over me. I take 2 strides and wire a clapper. I leaned into this sucker, and just whoever's in the way is just going to feel it and be like, yeah, I don't suck. You see that? Then I skated off, never played again.
Oh, my gosh.
I swear, never played again. So my hats off to the roller players who can stop out there and not do what I did.
So, go ahead, Marsh.
Roller hockey's huge here in St. Louis.
Is it?
Like Lindenwood's team is super good. I have a ton of buddies that play out at All-American. There's a lot of St. Louis kids that grew up playing roller hockey, and it really helps your hands too.
Yeah.
Pat Maroon played. Yeah.
Local legend J.P. Bealston.
Nice.
Played for Team USA, and he runs Car Shield now, the AAA hockey. His dad was a coach at Lindenwood for a number of years.
That reminds me, did I ever tell you a story when Dunk tried softball for the first time?
Oh, no.
So Dunk, obviously, just a mammoth home run hitter. You think, all right, transition's going to be easy. But like you, he got inside his dome, right? Like he's like, I'm playing softball. Any tips? Because you know I played. I go, yeah, hit the ball over the fence, man. Go for it.
Wear as many sweatbands as you can.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, but it's different. It's
flippers.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to make sure that your swag is on point. That's about it. I'm like, yeah, man, just unleash one. He goes, well, the bat's different, the arc and all that. I'm like, oh, man, you're going to be fine.
It's a different animal.
He comes in the next day. He goes, I struck out 3 times. I go, what do you mean you struck out 3 times? He goes, I did. I struck out 3 times. I go, are you kidding me? But he couldn't, the timing of it all. He got in his own
the
head.
Swing too for softball, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've played baseball and softball. The swing is different.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
it's like a chop down.
You chop down,
right?
To
a lot of people
it.
think you have to go. You dip the shoulder.
That's right.
And no, it's
then
actually
you end up whiffing or fouling it off because you can't get a piece of it.
Yeah. The dudes that put on like the professional home run derbies and stuff like that for softball, the guys that are they're in these really competitive men's leagues. They'll chop down at it to get that spin. Mm-hmm. And it's just an absolute laser.
Mammoth home run.
Yeah.
See, I can't help in softball. I'm the guy, unfortunately, that just, you don't want to be this guy. You hit the ball up the middle. I can't not do it. Like, it's just, that's why I grew up. Hey, hit the ball up the middle. And now I'm poor guy pitching. He's just like, dude, you got to stop.
He's wearing a cage in a mouth.
He's ready to kill
those guys do. I don't blame him. You hit
him right in the knee.
Yeah, man. No protection. All right. What do we get to? 2?
I think we got to 3.
Not good enough. Sports Six Pack continued next on 101 ESPN.
If you're looking at your vehicle right now and you're thinking to yourself, man, I want to change it up a little bit. Well, perfect. Head over to Pure Performance. They are your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. And with the weather changing, you're going to want to have some nice accessories. Let's say you get a Jeep like my guy Marshy. Any year, make, or model of your Jeep, Pure Performance has all of the accessories that you're looking for. For the new Ford Broncos, they've got you covered there as well. Quite honestly, any vehicle. My pickup truck, Pure Performance takes care of that. They did a lot of accessorizing for that. I loved everything that they did. My son, they put on brand new tires and wheels. They do it all. And it's not just the customized wheels and tires either, the oversized ones. No, Pure Performance has everything available. Even if it's just a regular tire that you want to put on your minivan, Pure Performance can handle all of that for you. They also have an incredible facility. 25,000 square foot facility located in St. Peter's. It really is awesome. You walk in and it's kind of like accessory overload. So make sure when you get there, you ask for Shelby and she can help guide you through some of that because you're absolutely going to be floored with what's available. Tell Shelby that Jamie Rivers sent you in. And the technicians, well, they're the best. They're the best at what they do. And when you pick up your vehicle, you are going to absolutely love it. So again, get by there in person or visit them online at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
All right, so we didn't finish the Sports Six Pack. So why don't we go ahead and do that right now here in the Fast Lane. 503, your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Marsh, go.
Question number 4.
All right, we touched on this earlier in the show. Jamie, you were not here just yet. It was about the free agents in the NFL, and there was one player that came up that I think we wanted to maybe just dive into a little bit more. So we got a question from 314. Is the best fit for Saquon Barkley the Baltimore Ravens, and would that be the best duo in football with him and Lamar Jackson?
The best duo in football? Probably not, but it'd be pretty interesting, that's for sure. I think that Saquon Barkley to the Ravens would be a perfect fit. The Ravens have a built-up defense. They've got more than enough skill position players. They've got a good offensive line. Obviously, they have the quarterback. Adding Saquon Barkley to the Ravens, I think, would be outstanding. And then they don't have to invest in a running back in first round, second round. Roll with that. Saquon Barkley in the Ravens offense, sign me up. Either that or Derrick Henry, who might be a perfect Baltimore Raven. But Derrick Henry's got a little more miles on the tires. He's older.
Yeah.
So I would say Saquon Barkley, Ravens.
I don't hate it. I like it. I'm trying to think of another team that could really benefit from a good running game. But it has to be a team that'll actually use him.
Right.
Like you think of the Chiefs, but Andy Reid, I don't know if Andy Reid's going to give the ball enough to Saquon Barkley.
No, you got Pacheco.
Yeah. But still, Saquon's an upgrade.
The
right
Chargers
now, would be. The Chargers
would be good.
Harbaugh's already said flat out. He's on record saying, I would really like to get Saquon Barkley.
I think any team, though.
Eagles would be a good spot
Depends
for him.
on the cost.
Well, but to Jamie's question, they didn't run the ball nearly enough.
That's because A.J. Brown wanted the damn thing all the time.
He may not be there. He may not be there.
Wait, what?
They said that he was problematic.
What are you hearing, Jamie?
I'm just saying, they said that it got to be problematic near the end of the year. Him and Jalen Hurts and just all the time. A.J. Brown, he's like 7-11. He's always open.
Yeah.
So,
that's what happens with bona fide number one wide receivers.
Yeah, but it's fine, but you also have to play like a team game.
No, you got to get them the ball.
And those guys are fine, but then they grow old on you, and you get tired of hearing them.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley, Ravens, love it.
Question number 5.
This is an interesting question. I like this question from the 314. Is Jordan Bennington like a flashy cornerback in the NFL? And Joel Hofer is mostly a lockdown corner. Jordan Bennington making flashy saves / switching momentum because of him, i.e. interceptions in the NFL. But to make those saves, he overplays shots, which sometimes lets easy goals in, while Hofer is more sound, less interceptions, but reduces the number of easy goals.
Jamie, if I could. I think Jordan Bennington is your bona fide number 1 cornerback, and Joel Hofer is your bona fide number 2 cornerback. Don't forget, interceptions occur when the ball is being thrown at you constantly. Like Deron Bland a year ago, they're like, man, this guy's unbelievable. Look at how many interceptions he gets. Yeah, because quarterbacks are picking on him constantly. He has opportunities for interceptions. I don't think Jordan Bennington overplays things.
No, I don't at all.
He's a stud.
I think he makes the saves that he needs to make. And when they're flashy saves, it's because it's a tremendous goal-scoring opportunity that he has to overextend himself in order to make that save.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't think I would... To me, that's not a direct comparable.
I'm with you.
Question number 6.
We get a question.
Marsh is picking one out here.
I'm trying to figure out what the best question is. We did get a question about the weather here.
Yeah.
About the weather being, and it's from Justin, the weather being just the most crazy thing, just St. Louis weather in general.
Real Miles Mikolas of 2023, the weather
just
the last couple of days. Yeah. Yeah, like today or yesterday was Miles Mikolas of April. 2 days ago, it was Miles Mikolas of May. What'd you say, Jamie?
Well, Jamie wasn't here.
I wasn't here. Trust me, I was definitely in the Miles Mikolas of May.
That's right. I apologize.
I was.
Anthony, remember that day we woke up and there was snow everywhere?
I do.
And I just didn't think it was actually going to snow.
Yeah.
Which Cardinal is that? Is that day?
The snow day.
The snow day. When you just woke up, opened the door, and there was snow.
I'm assuming you didn't want the snow, right?
No. Goodness gracious, no. It took me like an hour to get to work.
Yeah. So a Cardinal that's really frustrating to you, that you don't necessarily want, but all of a sudden he's there. Yeah, Taylor Motter.
Oh, no, he's not on the team anymore.
But the Taylor Motter of 2023.
You didn't want him.
Yeah.
No, come on now.
I got to go with him.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
You're like, why?
Is he anywhere here?
I don't know. No, he's not. He's not with the Cardinals. I don't know where he went.
Right.
No idea.
Okay. Let's do a quick Goggle search.
We got a question while you're looking that up. Another football question. What is the best fit for T. Higgins?
Taylor Motter. I'll get back to T. Higgins here. No, he's a free agent.
Go get him. How old is he?
He's 34.
Perfect.
Not quite there. I'll have to wait another year.
Hold on. When's his birthday? September 18th. We got a while yet before he turns 35.
September call up.
September, yeah.
Call him up in September.
Yeah. He is a perfect fit. All right, T. Higgins, you ask?
Yes.
Besides Cincinnati? Buffalo.
Ooh.
Well, what are you looking for? Are you looking to expand? I mean, he's a number one. So how about we find a team that doesn't currently have a number one?
We got to, while you look that up, from the 314, Tennessee for T. Higgins with his old offensive coordinator.
To Tennessee.
Kansas City would be a good fit.
Kansas City, certainly, yeah. How about we give him to the...
I mean, the Bengals are going to keep.
The Bengals should keep him. Yeah, I'll just... I mean, what about Indianapolis? If they don't re-sign Michael Pittman's a possession receiver. More of a possession receiver. So they can keep both guys, but T. Higgins would be interesting there. Tennessee would be fine. I think he's perfect with Cincinnati. If you want a really dynamic offense, you go with Buffalo. Him, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis is a free agent, so if they let him go. Now, Buffalo is still building from the outside in, which I don't necessarily think is smart, but when it comes to T. Higgins, I mean, T. Higgins would be a fit anywhere. He's an outstanding receiver. All right. That's your Sports Six back here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Took us a while to finish it, but we got there.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes longer.
That's right. It's worth it, though.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's better.
Mm-hmm. All right. So earlier today, we did the ceiling floor game with Jordan Walker. I didn't necessarily love the effort that was displayed by Andrew Marsh or Jamie Rivers, but they guaranteed me that their game for this next round. Let's start off with Lars Nootbaar, but why don't we also talk about Miles Mikolas and maybe some other Cardinals? Ceiling, floor. You can get the best out of Jamie and Marsh next on 101 ESPN.
Fellas, are you currently using ED meds? I don't care. Nobody cares. Because when it's game time, you've got to be ready to go. And I totally understand that. What I don't understand is spending too much money on the little blue pill or the gummies that are out there now. No, head over to the medicine shop in St. Charles. They are your destination for cheap ED meds. They currently have the generic called Sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Gentlemen, it's a great value right there. Prescription is required. And if you're like me or someone who travels a lot and you're out of the country, maybe you're out of town, maybe you just work a lot, maybe the kids have lots of things going on after school, don't worry about your medications because the medicine shop has free discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace. And that is a fantastic program that you're going to want to be a part of. And you're also going to want to stop by the pharmacy and say hi to them over there. They're awesome individuals, and they will do everything they possibly can to help you, point you in the right direction, whether it's cold and flu or allergies or anything else that you have for them. The medicine shop in St. Charles is going to take great care of you. So please, again, stop by the location in St. Charles. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in, or visit them online at stcharles.pharmacy. That's stcharles.pharmacy.
Let's play ceiling floor with some of these other Cardinals players. Let's start with Lars Nootbaar. The ceiling for Lars Nootbaar in 2024. And by the way, I got a text or a tweet from somebody named Alex that said, hey, to clarify, you said on 101 that Jordan Walker's ceiling is 25 home runs and 85 RBIs. Is that for this year only, or do you never see him having a season surpassing those numbers in his entire career? Really good question. I responded to him. I said, good question, only 2024. So we're not talking about an entire career. We're just talking about for 2024. So for Lars Nootbaar, statistically, or any other way that you want to do it, but I think statistically is probably the easiest. What's your ceiling for Lars?
Go ahead, Andrew.
20 home runs? 20 home runs, maybe like 60 RBIs, depending on where he's batting in the lineup.
So you think Newt is worse than Walker?
Well, I mean...
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Why? You don't have to say it like that.
No, but just making sure we're clear.
You did put some stank on it.
No, everybody always pumps up the tires and Lars Nootbaar like he's going to be like this all-star player.
Well, yeah, but he shouldn't be profiling better than Jordan Walker, who's supposed to be like the next dude in your org.
I think that's realistic.
Yeah, 20 home runs.
If you get 20 plus out of Lars, you're good with that.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I was asking the question.
I think his numbers could actually compare to Jordan Walker outside of the RBI numbers because Lars is going to face a lot of. He's going to see the leadoff spot.
Yeah, I think his on base will probably be better than Jordan Walker.
Yes, I do too. But if you get 20 plus out of Lars Nootbaar, he scores you 75 runs, drives in 60 to 65. I think that's a solid season. That actually might just be a good projection, not necessarily a ceiling. I think that would actually be closer to his floor.
Okay.
Why are you looking at me like that? What is your deal with Lars?
I have nothing. I'm just paying attention to what you're saying.
Yeah, but you got such a scowl on your face.
Well, you flipped it on its head. You're like, well, that's more of my projection. That was his ceiling. Maybe it's your projection, but it's his ceiling. So what the hell's your problem?
Yeah, thanks, Jamie.
I've got a lot of problems, but none with Marsh.
But here's the problem, Anthony, with what you've done here today, okay? Here's the problem. Is you've set us both up for failure with this stupid ceiling and floor game that you're playing.
No, I
okay?
haven't.
Yeah, you have. Because every time we have a response, you've got a rebuttal. And you're
just having a conversation,
no,
Jamie.
You're not. You're really not. Because you asked him for his ceiling. He gave his ceiling. You're like, that's it.
It dawned on me that I think that's actually a pretty good projection for Lars Nootbaar.
So where does the projection fit in? Are we playing ceiling, floor, projection? Is that the new game?
Sure, we can do whatever we want. It's the fast lane.
What's your ceiling?
No rules, just right.
What's your ceiling?
Kind of like Jordan Walker, 25 home runs, 10 stolen bases.
Is that your projection?
75 runs.
I think 25 is too high. Like, that's a high ceiling.
For Lars, that's why I said it's the ceiling.
I think
if I say, okay, so let's do this, Marsh. If I say over under home runs for Lars Nootbaar, 18.5, what are you taking?
Over.
Okay. Not you?
Depends. Is he healthy all year? That's unfortunately it's part of the equation.
Yeah.
What
did he have last year?
Let's look.
He didn't get 20 last year.
No, he didn't play enough games.
Well, I think when I hear ceiling, I'm thinking, what is the best that he can do in a given year? I think 20 home runs is probably his ceiling. Maybe he gets like 23.
He had 14 the last 2 years.
I think he can get to 20. Hell, if we had Brendan Donovan getting to 15 last season.
He should have got to 15.
He should have. I think Nuke can get to 20 if he does stay healthy. That's his ceiling. I don't know if he's projected to get 20 because, like Jamie said, he can't stay healthy for a full year.
How many guys do you think hit home runs, 20 home runs this year?
On the Cardinals?
Yeah.
5.
Okay, so let's run through it. I've got Arenado, Goldie, Gorman, Contreras. Now what?
Walker.
I think Walker could get there.
Are you saying last year or this season?
No, this season. This season.
Oh.
Yeah. This season coming up.
I'd say
I think Walker
6.
could get there. I think Nuke could get there.
I think they could get there, yeah. They could.
Yeah. All right. Stolen bases. How many get 10 plus?
10 plus?
Yeah. Tommy Edmonds guaranteed to get 10 plus stolen bases. Edmond probably get 25.
What about Donovan?
I don't think Donovan gets to 10.
Okay. Mason Wynn?
Wynn, I think, gets to 10. I think Walker gets to 10.
Think of 3 guys?
Yeah.
What about Newt?
Nuke could get there too. Yeah. Let's go 4. 4 stolen bases. Anybody driving 100?
If this team wants to be good, they need a few.
A few?
I mean, Goldie and Arenado need to hit 100 RBIs.
Arenado for sure, because if Goldschmidt hits second,
yeah.
But if Arenado is your cleanup hitter, he's got to drive in at least 100. I don't think anybody else comes close to that outside of Goldschmidt. I don't think anybody hits 90 or drives in 90 outside of Arenado and Goldie.
Right. Okay, so if Gorman though's hitting 30 home runs, 30 plus, I mean, he's got to be tickling 100
RBI.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You think all these are going to be solo shots?
Order?
He'll probably bat third.
I think he would be under 90.
100 is tough to get to, man.
It is. I think the only guy that's got a shot is Arenado to drive in 100.
You're not giving me confidence in this team right now.
Why? What are you talking about?
I'm just not feeling it.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Why don't we talk about the pitchers?
Okay. Miles Mikolas?
Who's under 4?
Under 4 wins?
Who's under a 4 ERA? I think there's one. I think it's Sonny Gray. What about you guys?
It's so difficult to think about this right now. I just have last year still on the brain, ingrained. That's just like, there's no way.
Is it fair to say Sonny Gray's the only one in the 3s?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
How many get under 4.5?
I think you get 2.
Counting Sonny Gray?
Yep.
I think you get 2.
Who's your other guy?
Has to be Mikolas. I told you that the other day. He's got to be your number 2. He has to be.
I actually think Lynn could get under 4.5. He did 2 years ago.
Last year he didn't.
No, he did not.
Last year was tough.
I think Steven Matz can get under 4.5, but only because he's going to throw like 7 games.
Oh, come on. Come on.
A whole 7?
He burned you 1 year.
What?
Burned me 1 year, 2 years.
Well, the 1 year you had him pitching X amount of innings.
Well, he was Cy Young for Anthony the 1 year.
Yeah.
Remember
what are you talking
your
about?
bet with BT? Who's going to pitch more innings, Mikolas or Matz?
That was dumb.
That was over a month into the season.
That was stupid. Was that last year?
That was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago?
Yeah.
That was the first time he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
At least it was the first time, and I didn't do it last year. Something tells me it was last year, though.
Oh, you learned.
I did. I learned. I should have known, though, because Brad was so quick with that. It's Miles Mikolas. As soon as he said it that quickly, I should have just said, you know what? I'm good. I'm going to back out. If you can allow me to back out, I'm going to back out on this. All right, who's got 150-plus strikeouts? How many? Starting rotation.
2.
I got 2, too.
Wait, what? 150 strikeouts?
Yeah.
How many got there last year? None.
Let's see.
I don't think any of them got to 150 strikeouts last year.
Yeah, no, they did.
Year.
Let's see.
You think?
Yeah, Lynn did.
Well,
okay. I meant like the Mikolas, Matz. And those guys last year.
No, I mean,
I didn't mean the new guys coming in.
Mikolas, just for reference, Mikolas last year had how many strikeouts? 137. But he had 153 the year before. He had 137 last year.
I say, if that's the case, then I'll say 2.
I think Lynn and Gray get there.
That's what I was thinking, too.
I think Lynn and Gray get there.
I think Steven Matz could, if he pitches the way he did out of the bullpen and he attacks hitters, he'll probably start more than 7 games.
How many starts does he have to get to 150 strikeouts?
I don't know.
50? 55?
Starts?
Yeah. To get to 150.
I thought we were sticking to the 2024 year, Anthony. Not a 5-year period.
Year and a half. I think he gets there. All right. That was kind of fun. It's a Fast Lane 101 ESPN. Biggest question of the day is next.
E&B Granite, they are the best in the business at several things. And with over 20 years of business experience here in the St. Louis area, E&B Granite is the trusted name when it comes to the renovations of your kitchen, your bathroom, and your outdoor space. And that's something that a lot of people are taking advantage of right now is the outdoor space. And why wouldn't you? And you need somebody who is going to help you through that. And that is E&B Granite. Just stop by their showroom, by the way, located at 6135 Manchester Avenue, and walk in there and you're going to see right away that they're set up for success. They have so many great different varieties of cabinets and countertops, and the flooring is awesome. They cater to anybody's tastes at all. And let's not forget that they have a massive inventory of custom countertops in the back to take a look at and find out what suits your taste the best. All you have to do is give them a call at 314-645-9300. That's 314-645-9300. Set up an appointment, get in there, and get your stuff taken care of. Or you can always visit them at enbgranite.com.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues lost last night to the Edmonton Oilers in overtime by a final score of 3-2. They'll take on the Minnesota Wild on Saturday. Pregame starts at 4. Puck drop is at 5, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We talked earlier today with Chris Kerber, voice of the Blues, right here on the Blues Radio Network. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows on the podcast page, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We'll have a Blues Instant replay for you after the show, so make sure you tune in to that as well. The Cardinals lost today 3-1 in spring training against the Washington Nationals. Kyle Gibson made a start, gave up 2 home runs, 3 earned runs. He struck out 2. We talked a little bit about that start earlier in the show. Once again, if you missed anything from today, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or use that free 101 mobile app. We have our biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
With Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh with the biggest question of the day.
All right, let's go back to the Cardinals.
All right.
If Dylan Carlson runs away with the starting center fielder job, starting center fielder, then what? What happens? What happens with Mason Wynn? What happens with Tommy Edman when he returns? What happens to the second base position?
What happens with Crawford?
What happens with Matt Carpenter?
Tommy Edman returns to center field, and that's it.
Even if Dylan Carlson is playing very well?
You talking about playing very well in spring training?
I'm talking about into the season, too. Into the regular season. He's playing really well.
Yeah, then is Lars playing well?
Yeah, let's just say the outfield's playing really well.
Tommy Edman's job.
Really?
Somebody's not. You're not going to have everybody hitting well. So maybe it's Tommy Edman back at second base. Maybe Brendan Donovan's not hitting, or Nolan Gorman's not hitting. Not everybody's going to be hitting. I think they're going to give Mason Wynn plenty of runway. I don't think it's going to be a situation where Mason Wynn struggles in April and they send him down to Memphis. I realized they did that last year with Jordan Walker, but in fairness to the Cardinals, Jordan Walker was beating the ball into the ground consistently. And when he came back up, he stayed. But I do not think it's going to be a situation where Mason Wynn is sent to the minors just because he's struggling. So it won't be Wynn. But not everybody in the outfield and at second base will be hitting well when Tommy Edman comes back. So if Dylan Carlson is tearing the cover off the ball, maybe he stays at center for a short period of time. Otherwise, it's Tommy Edman's job. He's the projected starter.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I think that if Dylan Carlson's playing so well, then the Cardinals might opt to even kind of slow play Tommy Edman, making sure he's absolutely 100% healthy. And to your point, Anthony, somebody's going to have an off part of the season, or maybe they need a day off here and there, and you start to, this is why you have an extra outfielder.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Time will tell. But again, this is a big if. Dylan Carlson has got to come in and absolutely rake at that spot and prove that now it's his for the taking. And if he does, and he's so friggin' good at the beginning of the regular season, then you don't touch it. You find somewhere else for Tommy Edman for the time being. Maybe he goes back to second base.
Yep.
And Gorman's your DH then, and you got to work your lineup differently because of that. Either way, it's a really good problem to have if Dylan Carlson is pushing Tommy Edman out of center field.
Yeah, no doubt. It is interesting, though, when you look at Dylan Carlson. Doesn't it feel like he's at a crossroads with the Cardinals?
He's 25?
He's 24 or 25. He's still young, but the emergence of Victor Scott, like that's happening. It may not happen out of spring training. It may not happen until September.
Yeah.
But Victor Scott is going to be your longtime center fielder. So it feels like Dylan Carlson is at a bit of a crossroads right now with the Cardinals. And what does he do really well? I'm not talking about projections. I'm talking about what does Dylan Carlson do right now that provides the team with immense value?
Well, nothing.
I'll hang up and listen.
Well, no, he really doesn't, which is why he's in this predicament.
Right. Like he's a good center fielder, but he doesn't have the elite speed like Victor Scott has. He can't cover the same amount of ground as Victor Scott.
No, he can't. Now he has to hope that he can get the bat going. If he can bring the offense that Victor Scott can't, or the offense that Tommy Edman can't, then that makes him valuable because he's somewhat on par with those guys playing defensively. Defensively, I don't worry about Dylan Carlson out there.
Yeah.
I really don't.
No, I don't either.
Is he a Gold Glover? No, but I don't worry about him.
Right. But you're only as good as what the team has as options behind you.
Yeah.
And right now, Victor Scott, while he's gonna likely start the season in the minors, Victor Scott's gonna be behind you pretty soon.
And we'll see. We'll pump the brakes on that because I always do with the young guys. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's just see. This is spring training, and everybody's all hot on Victor Scott and all this stuff. Everybody, the whole world was like celebrating Dylan Carlson. One of the highest rated prospects, this, that, the other, cold, dead hands. And that wasn't that was Mo, but other organizations too. And national media were like, ooh, boy, this Dylan Carlson, what a great prospect for the Cardinals. And now he's battling for a spot in the majors.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't get too far ahead of things when it comes to these young guys. You just don't know.
Right. Don't love your attitude, but I hear you. It's a good point.
I don't care what you love.
Nationals beat the Cardinals today 3-1. Kyle Gibson, speaking of spring training, you can throw these stats out. 2 innings of work, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. In the first inning, first 2 batters he faced, gave up home runs. 1 to Lane Thomas, former Cardinal, 388 feet. James Wood, 411 feet.
The actor?
No, not James Wood, the actor. I think he's a 21-year-old.
Oh.
Got him from the Padres in the Juan Soto deal.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Your lineup today, not great. Brendan Donovan, 0 for 3. Goldschmidt, 0 for 2. Nootbaar, 1 for 3. Nolan Arenado, 0 for 2. Matt Carpenter, 0 for 2. Jordan Walker, 1 for 3. Mason Wynn, 1 for 3. Victor Scott, the aforementioned Victor Scott, who Jamie's not high on, 0 for 3. Now we know why. Just kidding.
Just pump the brakes is all I'm saying.
Still don't have a home run in spring training thus far. I know it's only spring training, but it would be nice to see the Cardinals touch some seats at some point, Jamie, in spring training.
Yeah, seriously. Anytime now.
They've also scored 1 run in 18 innings.
That can't be true.
It's true.
What?
1 run, 18 innings.
Okay.
Because they got shut out yesterday. So
I'm really depressed now.
So they lost 3-1 today. They lost 3-0 yesterday. They tied the Red Sox 3-3. They tied the Marlins 1-1. They beat the Astros 3-0. So since they lost 9-8 to the Marlins and 10-5 to the Mets, they have scored, let's see here, 3, 4, 7, 8 runs in their last 5 games. Jamie, high in this offense?
No, not right now.
All right, that makes sense.
Not at all.
Yeah. Again, it's only spring training, but it'd be nice if they get off their dead ass and do something. Maybe hit one out of the ballpark.
Somebody, please.
Yeah. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got Bet the Board, 3 stars of the day, criticisms, compliments, all coming up next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, FanDuel is absolutely dynamite.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, you will in a second. Right now, they have the no sweat same game parlay for the NBA games for TNT Thursdays.
Which is tonight.
It is tonight. What an exciting night. You'll get bonus bets back if your same game parlay doesn't win either on any NBA on TNT games.
So tonight you got the Warriors and Knicks. That's your first of the doubleheader, first matchup of the doubleheader. Warriors are laying 4.5 points to the Knicks, who are struggling. And then you got the Heat and the Nuggets. Nuggets laying 6.5. So the second game of the TNT doubleheader is Nuggets and Heat. Why don't we take both underdogs, Jamie?
Let's do it.
Let's do the home dog, Knicks, even though they're struggling, 4.5 at home. And let's take the Heat plus 6.5. You might want to fade those. But you can do it all at FanDuel. However you want to play, just head to FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast to bet the NBA with a no-sweat same-game parlay with TNT Thursdays. Perfect for tonight. That's FanDuel.com/fast. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. Minimum 3-leg parlay required. Refund issues non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you're looking to save money on your car insurance or your home insurance, please pick up the phone immediately and call Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency. One, they're going to make sure that they get you the best price available, but not at the expense of being covered properly. And that's the one thing I learned early with Tracy Bibb, was that the coverage has to be correct. And I wasn't covered properly before with my previous insurance provider. Tracy Bibb noticed that, corrected it, and made sure that I was safe and taken care of. And that's the kind of customer service that you are going to want as well. And you don't always get that. In fact, you usually don't get that with the 1-800 number that you have to call. And you talk to somebody who doesn't know you, maybe doesn't understand your situation or even know what your policies are. Don't do that. Call Tracy Bibb. She's the best in the business. She's going to make you a part of the Bibb Agency family, and she's always going to make sure you're taken care of. So without further ado, give her a call for a free non-committal quote at 314-328-4260. Again, that number is 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, you can download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app, all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We will complete the month, but I believe Carey Davis, by virtue of Jamie and I losing last night, Carey Davis is going to win the month of February. So whoever was paired up with Carey Davis, congratulations. You got yourself a 101 ESPN prize pack.
Great.
Jamie won the first month. Carey won the second month. What do you guys think about doing, like, if we're going to do money lines and stuff, factoring in the money line prices?
What are you talking about?
Here's the thing.
It's going to get too complicated, Anthony. This is where it's going to be like math and all this. It just gets too complicated. But go ahead. Whatever. Shoot your shot.
So, Jamie, let's say that you take one of these underdogs in hockey.
Yeah.
It's plus 140.
Yeah.
And you win.
Yeah.
Well, you're up plus 140 now, not plus 100.
Yeah.
So you, being the hockey guy, picking a lot of these underdogs and winning these underdogs, it would benefit you. But if you don't want that, Jamie, that's fine.
It's just too much work. Anthony, we're just going to keep track of all that crap.
Andrew Marsh has a whole spreadsheet. I just looked at it. It looks like a friggin' Christmas tree.
Yeah, but now you're going to throw math at him. I mean, come on.
He can handle it. He's a smart kid.
I don't know.
I think you're giving me too much credit.
I think you're just grumpy.
No, it's fine.
Anthony, I like the idea.
Thank you, Marsh.
It would help Jamie, especially when he picks like the Islanders.
Right. And he's cashing.
Plus odds.
Hell yeah. That's a good pick. It's a help pick.
Yep. Anyways, for fun, what are your picks tonight?
Who goes?
Carey. Who does Carey have tonight?
Well, since he won, Carey's got the Blue Jackets over the Hurricanes tonight.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting call by him.
Plus 235.
Now, see if he hit that in the new rules, it'd be good.
There you go.
All right. Jamie?
I'm going to Motown, baby. The Red Wings have been really good recently. And the Islanders are visiting the Red Wings, and the Red Wings are minus 112 in this one.
You're going against your former team?
Yep. Well, no, not really.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Not really, Anthony.
That's true. All right, fair enough.
Got the Red Wings.
You got the Wings. All right, give me Vegas, plus 138 against Boston.
Wow.
Vegas is a fairly heavy underdog tonight in Boston. Boston has not been great of late. They only got 3 wins over the last 10 games. Some of those have been at home. Boston's kind of free-falling right now. Not really, but they've struggled. So give me Vegas, the big dog.
I'm going to go with the Arizona Coyotes over the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto. I saw a stat today that
they haven't won, 10 games, 11 games?
Arizona has been terrible. However,
yeah, they've been really bad.
Arizona has not lost a game in Toronto since, I believe, October 17th of 2002.
Seriously?
Yeah. I saw that too.
Let's look at this. Okay, so October of 22, Arizona won 4-2 in Toronto. In March of 2022, Arizona beat the Maple Leafs 5-4 in overtime. February 11th of 2020 was the last time Toronto won a home game against Arizona. Arizona's 3-1 in their last 4 games against Toronto in Toronto.
And whoever threw that stat out there lied.
Arizona's 6-4 straight up against Toronto in the last 10 meetings between the two teams.
Oh, they're for sure thing, then. I'm surprised they're not favored in this game.
Jamie, grow up. All right, so there's your picture bet the board. We'll redraft tomorrow.
Yeah,
because we got March 1st tomorrow. It's this is the month of the fast lane, by the way.
It is.
I say a month-long celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Month-long celebration.
I don't disagree.
Danny Mac's birthday is in March as well.
Is it?
March 18th. I saw that on the big board.
No kidding. So Jamie, yours is the 16th.
16.
Danny Mac's the 18th. You're the 19th.
Yeah.
Carey, I think, is the 28th. And I'm the 30th.
Just a
it's a month. It's a month. It's a fast lane birthday month.
Absolutely.
All right.
Gifts are not required, but they certainly are appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Very grateful for any gifts of bourbon, whiskey.
Yeah, if you want to get it, if you want to throw us a 12-year pappy, something like that.
Sure.
Kicking around, sure.
Yeah, we won't. We're not going to fight you on it. No. All right, Marsh, what do you got for criticisms and compliments?
All right, from the 636, read a book, Marsh.
Ouch. Was that just in general, like any book? Like, can you just pick a book?
I think it's like read a real book. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Why did you?
What was that in reference to?
It's because
some
of
context?
I think it's because of the Coyotes thing.
Wow.
How is that? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know, but Marshy, read a book.
I mean, it's good advice anyways.
It's never wrong, Anthony.
When was the last time you read a book, Jamie?
What year is it? Oh, you're laughing. What? Really? I bet you haven't read one.
Oh, no.
No,
that wasn't a criticism. I was really honest. I was wondering. And does an audiobook count?
No, because you're not reading it. You're listening. You might as well be listening to music.
Then, Jamie, it's been a while for me.
Yeah.
Probably the last book I read.
Oh, I read Tough Guy, the Bob Probert book. This was about 10 years ago.
Okay. Been about, I would say 20 for me.
Yeah, but before that book was probably 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people out there that read like
they just
daily.
Continuously read books.
Yeah. I like audiobooks.
Yeah, I can't focus long enough
to read
books like that. No chance.
Mm-hmm. So we got a text from 314. That's going to be the new pack a lunch. It's actually read a book.
Read a book. I just love it. There's no context to it. Just read a book, Marsh. All right, what did it get?
From a 636, compliment for Jamie Rivers. It's nice to see you back in St. Louis, even though it's just for a few days.
Yeah, it really is quick. We back in today and tomorrow, and then go on the road for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days.
Again?
Yeah.
I feel like you've been on the road.
Dude, I won't be back till the 12th of March.
Wow. Just in time to celebrate some birthdays.
Yeah.
And then I'm gone, I think, for a week because of spring break.
When are you leaving?
I don't know.
Maybe I'll take a day off.
Are you the 25th week?
No. I'll be in for that. Look, we'll figure it out.
I'll be kind of good. No.
We got one from the, wow. Got a loogie. I got a loogie in my throat.
You choked up there, Marsh?
My goodness.
Read a nice compliment, did you?
No.
Okay.
From the 618, I like watching the end of the show when you really mail it in, boys.
Yeah, that's true. 5 o'clock hour can be a little spotty sometimes.
All right, let's get to our...
Hell, we've been on air for 3 hours.
2.
2 if you're Jamie.
Yeah.
1 sometimes if you're Jamie.
Just try to keep everybody happy, Anthony.
All right, let's get to our 3 stars of the day. Our 3rd star of the day goes out to roller hockey skates.
Yeah, nice story there from Jamie Rivers. Hard to stop. Yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, or you've been wearing ice skates.
Mm-hmm. 2nd star of the day goes to the 2020-15 Kansas City Royals.
Is that what I said?
Apparently.
2015? Is that what I said? Idiot.
I mean, it's close.
2015.
Yeah.
I probably stopped myself knowing I was going to say something stupid and then said something stupid anyways. Seems to be my MO.
And our 1st star of the day goes to the Bluebird 1 for making sure our guy Jamie Rivers made it here on time.
Yeah.
Well, not on time, but he made it.
You know what? He was ahead of time.
Yeah.
We didn't expect you until about 4 o'clock, Jamie. You came in like 2:30. So, nice work. All right. We have some NBA basketball for you. Nuggets and Heat pregame at 8:30 tonight. So, we'll get some instant replay coverage coming up right now, though. We'll see you tomorrow, too. See you.